the water right now. So I did hear the buzzer sound, which means that they may have elapsed the time, or it could be a test. But no, we're looking for the thumbs up, and we'll see how things play, who our first athlete is. And bib number 39, it is Luke from Canada. Here we go.
Yeah, he's looking real. He's starting to start off with a big move, the McNasty there, full twist into the front loop, and then going straight into that front flip. A nice front flip over the nose. Looking for the McNasties. The trick here is to get a real variety of the tricks throughout your ride. Each trick can only score once each way, forwards or backwards. So look, they're trying to switch it up from that front loop into what we call the Space Godzilla, where there's a 90-degree rotation halfway through. Really trying to sell these tricks to our judges. There's a strict definition that they have to meet in order to get the points. Looking for end over end, cartwheels linking to split wheels, back into cartwheels and split wheels. Real nice fluid ride there from Luke as his final buzzer goes. He seems pretty happy. I've heard actually today is Canada Day, or Canada Day, so bit of an extra special day for him. Not just his World Championship debut, but celebrating his hometown.
Yeah, Canada, Team Canada, or Canada really is how it's supposed to be said. We have a bit of fun with the Canadian, the Canooks, that we sometimes call them. He's actually going in there looking for a big McNasty. Now, the idea is you've got to try and land it straight. So if you see the bow being the front of their boat, landing facing upstream at the end of their move, then that's a good way to sell it to the judges. If it lands within 20 degrees left or right, then chances are it may not count, and they might have done the move for no apparent reason. So they'll have to go back in and try and throw it again, or throw it better with a bit better style.
Yeah, now Luke just hanging around waiting for the judges to tally up their scores, see what they've got. They'll just double check with each other. So there's 3 judges judging, and they sort of confer with each other, make sure they're happy with what each other's doing. And then the head judge, who's Shep for this one, he presides over them all. So double checks. He has the final say, but he trusts his entire team of judges, so most of the time he doesn't have to step in and do much.
Yeah, so right down there, just down here in River Right, which is where you can see Luke just chilling out. It's down right next to the coaches area. So the coaches can be really super close to their athlete and give them all the tips and see exactly what's going on in the feature, and gives them an opportunity to give really relevant feedback to their athletes, so that when they come back in their second run, they'll be able to improve on what they've already done. So the heat is just starting to come down from the upstream area. And you know what? Here we go. First run, 383 points. Luke, that's a pretty solid start to our junior athletes.
Yeah, not bad at all. So definitely scoring a couple of them at Nasties, loops and Space Godzillas that we talked about. So I'm sure he'll be happy with that one and look forward to his second ride. But for now, Daley Kellogg, part of a massive clan who've made their way over from the USA. All of them kayakers, a few of them competing here, starting off with a lovely entry move, keeping his head dry, flowing straight into the McNasty, into the other one. He's really wasting no time here. He's looking straight for that lunar orbit, maybe popping out, trying to get a little air bonus on that. A couple of extra points for releasing the boat from the water. As it looks now, maybe for the tricky woo, 3 consecutive ends all on one blade, rotating all the way through them. Real hard move, hence the name Tricky. Real paddling hard backwards, just making sure he stays in the feature. With only 45 seconds to produce as many moves as possible, it's key that you stay in there. As he looks for split wheels, cartwheels, really flowing these tricks, linking them together one by one. Last couple of seconds now, it's time to go big. As he looks for another tricky woo, just bouncing off a real nice, sweet ride there for Daley, flowing together real good.
That's right, he's a family of 14 who travels the world. They use a lot of online media to showcase what these guys are up to. They use the hashtag or the @CalloggShowKids. He's a dirt biker, snowboarder, and adrenaline junkie in his bio. They travel the world in a 36-feet RV with his brother Kenny, and he started a YouTube channel, and they're doing a lot to promote what they're up to as well as the sport. It's great to see the Kellogg's being a part of this program, only 17 years of age. Hails out of Glenwood Springs. Glenwood Springs is such a fantastic wave, and when it comes in the springtime, super awesome wave. Really able to throw super big tricks on that feature out in Colorado. So the idea here is we're joining you guys from downtown Sort, Spain. It's a lovely, tiny little town in the Pyrenees Mountains. What you're watching is the 2019 ICF Canoe Freestyle World Championships. My name is Jez, and you're joined right now with James Ibbotson from Great Britain. We're both athletes, actually, but we're taking the time out to bring as much of the action to you at home. Do me this favour and share the link so everyone's on the understanding of what's going on today. I want everyone in the world to check in. The idea is send this link to your friends, to your family, put it on Facebook so that everyone is aware of what we are doing here. This is the World Championships. Throughout this whole week, it's a big week. We're having so much competition coming at you, and it's going to keep going on through finals from Wednesday onwards. And we'll finish and culminate in the finals for the men's and women's kayak this Saturday night under lights, loud music, huge crowd. This is going to be the place to be, isn't it, Ibo?
Yeah, that final Saturday night is definitely going to be a show that you don't want to miss. All the best kayakers in the world throwing the biggest tricks, trying to get the biggest title in our sport of world champion. Daley Kellogg there coming in with a massive score on his first ride of 966. That is a big score for a junior. I'm sure he's going to be really happy with that and look forward to a second ride. But for now, we're on to maybe a local here, definitely from Spain. You can hear a lot of noise coming from the grandstand from the local supporters. Dropping in big entry move. Now really just setting up. He doesn't really want to waste any time, but equally he doesn't want to miss a trick. So that was a big McNasty there. You could see some clean air between him and his boat and the water, which shows real big pop. Using the power of water to his advantage, just pausing a second, waiting for that right little bubble to come in so he can throw it. He's looking for his McNasties. Surf now. A lot of the athletes will use these shoulders to set up. Oh, just flushing off there on a split wheel. Up, up, up. So these guys have 45 seconds. If they drop off the feature, they can sprint into the eddy and up as fast as they can. And as long as a move is initiated within that 45 seconds, it will score as long as it meets definition. Unfortunately, just missing the feature there. Not quite fast enough up the eddy. We had a couple of good moves there right at the start of his ride. We see a big McNasty, that boat coming round, pointing upstream nicely on the landing. Just catching his tail there. But him showing his experience, just catching it into that, almost a kickflip there during the wave. Normally a move you do downstream, but showing his experience and retaining the feature.
You know how great it is to have local athletes training now. This is a legacy. This is a great legacy for Spain. As the score comes through, 220 points, currently in third position for his first run. Remember, they have 2 runs, of which they both get combined. So the idea here is that we have a legacy of a feature which is going to be here forever. So athletes are going to be able to, well, locals are going to be able to come down to the river and really hone in their skills. And it's only a 3-hour trip from Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona, Toulouse, a few international airports, not too far away. Right now, Toby Marlow from the UK. I know he's got his family out here watching, supporting, Jack on the side, and he's really doing them proud so far. An entry move straight into the McNasty, trying to rack these points up as quickly as he can. Looking for it in the opposite direction, just missing it, rolling up quickly, catching another edge. Luckily, retaining in that feature, not having to paddle back up the eddy and use that energy there. He looks for a nice big front loop, real nice. Just showing his experience, head down sprinting. Ooh, just flushing off the back there, carving a little bit too hard. Trying to set up, but he's still got time. He's still got 10 seconds to get back up that eddy. Plenty of time to get in the feature and throw one last big trick.
Yeah, now you see him coming in, going crossbow for the Phonics Monkey to the right. And it looks like he probably just got that bow facing upstream on the buzzer. Now, just a heads up, if they throw a move as the buzzer sound, as long as they've started the move, then the move will count. If they throw the move, or initiate the move, I should say, when the buzzer starts or counts, then it won't count. So you have to initiate the move just before the buzzer, otherwise you will not get any points for that move. The Phonics Monkey is one of the most hardest moves to perform, especially in this feature. Not many people are actually doing them because it does require a lot of poise, a lot of grace, and a lot of balance and control to be able to spin the move around with your crossbow paddle blade and then throw it into a loop. Extremely hard move, And I don't think, honestly, we'll see that many. Even in the men's finals, my prediction is that we'll only see a couple of athletes bringing them out. And actually, the UK athletes seem to be the ones that are throwing a lot of them. As the score comes in, 313 points. That puts him in 3rd position.
Yeah, not a bad first ride there from Toby. His international debut here. So coming in on one of the biggest world championships that we've had in a while. It's a big show out here. Lots of locals coming down. 2 different sets of seats for everyone to sit on. So it's quite nice to see all the locals getting behind such a big event. But coming up next is our Russian athlete, Timofey. I'm not too sure where he's starting from. We can't quite spy him yet. Maybe downstream.
Yeah, so they have an opportunity of dropping in from above or starting from below. If you start from above, you have the opportunity of getting an entry move. However, the potential is you might flush as you're going for that entry move. So it's kind of a bit of a tactic that you might play.
Yeah, getting the entry move gives you some points quickly off the bat as your time starts. But Timofey's starting there. He wastes no time. Within a couple of seconds, he's already cracking out a lovely front loop. Trying to get as much air on that as possible, earning the bonuses. As he looks at some nice spins on the corner, looking really controlled. You could see his head moving, so he's always looking upstream exactly where he wants to be going as he goes to the spin on the other direction. Just ticking these moves off one by one, looking for that cartwheel, some rotations on angle, getting the nose and the tail up in the air. He's looking nice and controlled.
You're doing a great job to stay in the feature. The idea, obviously, is if you're in the feature, you're going to be able to score the points. If you're flushed, you're not going to score any points. All moves have to be done and retained in the feature. If you do throw a couple of paddle strokes in and you might stay in there for a bare second, then it probably could count, but you don't want to have that option of the judges wondering if they should give it to you or not. You want to really sell it to the judges to show that you've got that move. And the only way to do that is to stay retained in that feature as you're going for your moves. And this is a feature which is on a natural river, but they've actually done a lot of work to create this world-class feature. And it's not something that just comes lightly. It requires time, effort, and money. Sword has really... I was speaking to the mayor, actually, just this morning. The mayor of Sword is such a character. He doesn't speak much English, but he's such a unique character and such a great guy. It takes a lot of effort to create a feature. As where the score comes in, 133 points, currently in 5th position. We'll see how he goes on his second run. So the mayor actually has really, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on a town like this to be able to create a feature which is unique for freestyle kayaking, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's also really tricky to do it. There's a lot of trial and error, especially with it being a natural river that can't really control the flows a lot. This dam release, so they can a little bit. But for now, Luke Pomeroy dropping on for his second ride. He had a solid first ride. Looking for those McNasties again. They're nice big points. If you get one with air, that's a whole 170 points for each direction. So definitely one that we're going to see a lot of people going for. Real snappy there, bringing that nose over his head. Nice and quick. Luke is more at home on big, big waves out in Canada, especially during the spring when all the snow melts. But he's showing us that he can still mingle with these holes. He's pulling loops, spaces and everything. He's not letting... Oh, he was definitely going for a wave move there. The nose just digging in. Last couple of seconds, he heads for the eddy.
Yeah, he's really digging deep, trying to get back up to the feature. But he's still happy. Look at that big air fist pump into the sky there. He's super stoked to be here. And we're happy for him to be part of this World Championships. This is where the worlds have come. The world's best athletes have descended to Sword to try and throw the biggest moves possible. You can see him going for that McNasty. He's happy with that. He's happy with his run for sure. Now, as he went in, you can see him just slightly tag the rock. So he probably went fairly deep there when he was going for that move. There are rocks, obviously. It's a river with lots of rocks around. And, you know, if you do tag a rock, it kind of sends a bit of a shudder through you, doesn't it, James? It's the last thing you want to feel. As the score comes in with 830 points, he is stoked. That would be an awesome, awesome run. Yeah, look at him. He's pumped. He's so pumped. Yeah, Luke, we're stoked for you, mate. Thank you very much for throwing down a sweet, sweet run. Yeah, he's excited. He's so excited. What a great run it is. He's going to be, tell you what, I think it's going to take him a while to get down off this this cloud. He's going to be super excited all day. And I'm sure we'll see more of him later on the week as he moves through to the next round.
Yeah, so coming up next, we're back to Daley Kellogg, one of the many Kellogg's here. I saw them filing onto the grandstand earlier, ready to watch him, and they just kept coming one after another. Pretty much all of them come over to Spain from the US. I can hear them all cheering. They're quite loud. There's enough of them to be loud. Drop it in. Daley opting for the entry move, trying to keep his head dry and get some quick points. Flicking it over for that McNasty again. That's at least 150-degree rotation straight into that front flip. Nicely linked. Big points. 170 points if you get the air on it. 120 if not. It's still big points. So it's going to be a popular move that people are going to go for. Rotating round, looking maybe for the split wheel or tricky woo. Just digging them ends in, looking for the tricky woo there. 3 ends, 1 blade. Real hard move to do, but big scoring again. He's looking for these big points. He's got confidence that he's going to hit them, so looking for them all, looking for it in the last couple of seconds. And that's the buzzer there for Daley.
Yeah, great run, Daley Kellogg. As we've said, all the way from Colorado, Glenwood Springs. He's throwing down a sweet run. The idea here is they have 2 runs. Both of them get combined together to give you total result. And with that, you are trying to move on to the next round. This is a tricky woo attempt. Now, the edge might have just dropped as he's going for it. Here it is. Very challenging move to do. I tell you what, it is so hard to perfect that move. It takes a lot of effort, but then to balance your boat on your nose and then turn it around your stern, it takes a lot of effort. Combined together, 1,676 puts him currently in the top of the leaderboard. He is the one to beat right now. Both scores get combined to give you a total result. Over 1,000 points already. Hey, these guys, no longer is this kind of spin to win, mate. This is all about trying to throw the biggest moves possible. If you don't throw them, you're not going to move on. The junior class is really putting on a fantastic show today.
Yeah, the juniors are really catching up with the seniors, especially the slightly older ones who are going to move up into the seniors. But right now, back to the hometown local. We can hear the stands going a little bit crazy. Yeah. Downstream, lots of noises, hunting for them tricks. He's got the entry move already. Looking for a nice big McNasty, trying to release his boat from the water, gain every little bonus point that is on offer to him. Ooh, just catching the edge there. Quick power flip. Rolling nice and fast. There we go. That's that McNasty that he's been searching for. Racking up the big points. He'll have been sat upstream watching Daley's big ride, knowing that he can do just the same. Ooh, just carving a little hard. 10 seconds left to go. It looks like he thinks he's a bit too far to get back in time.
That's probably a good tactic to play out if he thinks he's got enough to move through. It's very hard to be able to come back upstream. It takes a lot of effort to be able to push back upstream. The eddies are actually fairly large, but they're also still quite powerful, and there's a lot of flow moving down on these eddies. So it does require a lot of effort to power back up the feature, and the last thing you want to do is to throw all your effort in your first round, and then when you come to your second round, you're not going to be able to, I guess, have enough effort to move through and move on. 610 points combined. That's going to be an awesome result for the local Spanish athlete. It's fantastic stuff. Hey, we were talking before about a McNasty. Now, just a heads up, a McNasty is at least 150-degree horizontal angle rotation or half a barrel roll flowing into a front loop or space Godzilla. So you're basically doing a turn into a loop, and that is worth 120 points. So if you hear us call it, that's what it is. In with an entry move. Nice entry move to start it off as he moves through into McNasty to the left, just what we were talking about before. And now you can't get the same move more than once. So he's actually trying to go from McNasty in the other direction. Great boat control, comes to the top, pops it up, looking for the space Godzilla, but just gets a little bit flush. So chances are that move probably wasn't going to count. He's probably got a McNasty on the board, but the other direction McNasty wasn't quite straight. Probably wasn't finishing up with his feet pointed upstream, so it probably won't count. Oh, just gets really caught on that edge. Don't give up, because every moment counts. You want every single opportunity to get points on the board. As he's coming back to the top, pushes back in and goes for a nice loop, and that'll do it there. Oh, well, I'll tell you, that first McNasty, see that, how it landed nice and straight for a split second. That's all it has to do. But his second McNasty wasn't quite as proficient as his first one was. And here it is. This is what we're talking about. Going over and landing nice and straight. See how that bow is pointed nice and straight? But then he just flushes on it. So because of that flush, it probably would not count. So you don't get half points. You either get them or not. So his score combined, 533 points. Puts him currently in 4th position. Still a very good score from the athlete from Great Britain. So that is Toby. Toby, he's just check out his bio here. He's got 3rd in a male at Hurley competition, which is a great competition over in Hurley Weir. He plays kayak polo for St Albans canoe polo team, and loves to play chess and switch between straight paddle shafts and canoe polo 12-degree crankshafts. So he uses a lot of, it's actually quite difficult to move between those two paddle sizes and blades, I have to admit. He's just finished his school exams and has been kayaking for just under 4 years. And enjoyed it from the moment he started. Paddled a mix of freestyle, kayak polo and the occasional slalom. And paddles in the UK Young Guns Freestyle Series. We're going to move straight on to Russia as he goes and plugs in for his first loop. Doesn't quite get the loop. Now he's mixing around, looking for the McNasty in that shoulder. Now you can see that shoulder has actually got a lot of green to it. Now, because it's quite green, that's a flush point. The shoulder is the sides of the wave. So if you hear us talk about the shoulders, we're talking about the sides of the waves. And those sides, you can see it's got a little bit of a downstream V, and that's where the flush point is. You don't want to be in there too long because it'll probably flush you out. The center of this wave is fairly retentive, but it is shallow. Either side of the shoulders is the deepest point. He looks like he's probably got a spin on the board. Now he's going for a spin for the other direction. Tomothy now getting caught a little bit as he's going for that second spin, and just gets pushed a little bit around as he's going for that second spin. And that'll do it there for his second run, Tomothy from Russia. Let's have a look at this slow-mo. Now, we were talking about before about the shoulders here. Super important to stay retained in the middle of the feature. And if you can't stay retained, there's no point in throwing the moves, because obviously it won't count if you do it whilst you're flushing. You can see him there now going for that move and staying retained. Using that right paddle blade to his advantage to stay in the feature, as combined scores 136 points, puts him currently in 5th position. Oh, I've just got a word from the head judge that we actually have some upstream traffic. This is a good education to everyone back at home, but I'll talk about them in just a second. Currently, Daley Kellogg on top of the leaderboard, 1,676. Luke Pomeroy, 2nd position, 830. We've got Team Spain, Silver Force with 610. Marlow from Great Britain, Toby, 533. And our Russian athlete, 136. Tomothy, great to see you guys out here for sure. It is a natural river here, so we do have upstream traffic. We don't close the river off. It's unlike any other competition you'll probably ever see. You know, if you've got an ice skating rink, chances are you can close it off for competition. If you've got a rock face, a lot of times you'll be able to close that off for competition. But because this is a natural river, there's such a dynamic river, there's so much to it. There's always people using the river. We can't completely close the river. So there is always people enjoying the river, and we love to see people out here enjoying the river. It's a beautiful place to be for sure. Hey, I'm going to throw it down right now to James Ibbison, who's currently got someone on the side of the river for a quick chat. Hey, how things are heading down there right now, James?
Kellogg here, our current leader, is absolutely smashing it. He's got pretty much double 2nd place. How's that feel for you right now?
I'm pretty stoked on that. That's what I was going for, is just getting my ride, and felt great.
Awesome. You've got pretty much all your family here as well, the massive Kellogg clan. Is it something special to have them all out here absolutely cheering you on? We could hear them upstream.
Yes, it is definitely awesome for them. It's definitely awesome for them to come out here. It's just so awesome. With them all here cheering me on, it helps a lot.
Awesome. So all you've got left to do now is watch the rest of your competitors and hope that your score stands. What are your thoughts? Who do you reckon could be the one to knock you off the top?
There's a couple other paddlers that could definitely knock me off. But, like, down. I think I can make top 10 with that score. Well, I hope so.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully we'll be seeing you again. Have you got anything more to pull out for the semi-finals to hopefully progress through to the finals as well?
I do not. Just my ride. I hope I get it.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Daley.
Great to see Daley Kellogg down there at the feature. Hey, how cool is it to be able to have the athletes basically on demand for us to have a chat and be able to find out a little bit about these athletes straight away as we're going straight into our next athlete. It looks like Convoy here from Team Island. Yeah, Derek from Team Island, bib number 134, going with a nice entry move to start it off, but unfortunately has a little bit of a flush as he's going for that move. And now he's paddled back up and looking for his next move, looking for the McNasty. Oh, he muscled the heck out of that move. Holy dooly, he muscled that. He wasn't actually looked like he was going to style it, so he just threw in all the effort he could possibly throw. I can't wait to see that in slow-mo. He put so much. His abs are definitely going to be on fire after that. It was quite the effort. Now we see him coming back in, trying to mix it up for a McNasty. He's really trying to push that McNasty on the buzzer. Doesn't quite get that loop. The loop is a super important move to try and get in your routine. The loop is basically an aerial front flip in the air. I'll give you the rules for it. It's actually a front flip initiated and finished between a horizontal angle of -20 degrees and 20 degrees, and that's worth 60 points. So there's that McNasty that we were talking about. He was on his edge, and he looked like he just wasn't going to pull it out, so he just completely threw. Look at all the effort he threw in to try and get that McNasty on. And he still so retained, but I have to say probably just doesn't meet the definition of a McNasty, so he may not count that. Yeah, it didn't count, unfortunately, for him. So that's 16 points on the board. So he probably got maybe some spins or the like, trying to go for that McNasty. Didn't quite get that big McNasty. He was going for the loop. The loop is 60 points, so it looks like he probably didn't get that either.
Yeah, but the judges will always reward everything they can. Our judges always try and be nice, so even though he didn't quite make them McNasties, the judges will still look, see if they got a full rotation, see if they can give him a couple of points to them spins, which it looks like is what they did. But right now, all the way down to Cole from Canada, our second Canadian paddler of these heats. We can see them cheering on nice and loud, Canadian and proud.
That's right. He says in his bio he loves thrift stores and cold ravioli. What a character. All right, Cole, 16 years of age now, hailing out of Canada, throwing some moves, looking for McNasty. There's that McNasty, and he stays by retaining in the feature and points the boat upstream to try and sell that one to the judges. Oh, he got a nice big aerial loop, but I'd say he probably just tagged the rock as he was going for that move. And now he's going for the Space Godzilla, and as he's going for that space, he was down in the trough trying to throw it up and out and didn't quite stay retained, so he's going to have to paddle hard to get back upstream.
Yeah, the Space Godzilla has been quite a tricky one to do in this feature. Throughout training, we've not seen too many people throwing them and landing them, but they're definitely worth the big points, so worth going for. And that's unfortunately just time up there for Cole, who looked like he was just surfing around, setting up for his next move, and then his final buzzer went. But he started it off with a nice little entry move, a few quick points straight off the bat, and then a big loop. You see him reaching high into the air, trying to get all the air he can. Possibly his head was dry as well.
Yeah, so here we get some big bonuses. So you do get the opportunity of getting some huge and big bonuses if your boat and body gets aerial, which is super important. So let's just talk us through. Not only are we looking for the move to be done correctly, but we're looking for bonuses. Well, you'll hear us sometimes say clean bonus or big bonus. Talk us through that. How does that work, Gibbo?
Yeah, so your big bonus is basically when your boat gets out the water. So you've got two different levels. You've got the air where your boat's nice and clear. Then you've got the huge bonus. That's when both your boat, body, head, everything is nice and clear. The judges set how high they want that to be before the competition. But then your clean bonus is when you can do the trick but with no paddle. So it's even harder. So Cole's first ride there, coming in 160 points. So not a bad first ride for him. Possibly picking up a few of the bonuses on that loop. Maybe the big bonus. A nice little first settling ride there for Cole. These guys, they get 2 rides, but both of them count. So it's quite a high pressure first round. As you see, dropping in from the top. Alan all the way from France, looking for that entry move. Ooh, just flushing. It looked like he was going to hold him. He looked back as if it had. Quick sprint up the eddy. He's still got plenty of time to get back in there and pull off a few good tricks. The French have got a big noisy team as well. They're pretty much deafening when you accidentally sit in front of them on the stand. You definitely know about it.
Oh, that was juicy, Ebo. How big was that McNasty? He was getting some big air trying to go for that McNasty. I reckon, and he's going the other direction. Not quite as big, but just showing that he can go with his McNasties left and right. This is a huge scoring run. He's going to be excited by this. Doesn't quite get the loop, though, because the loop is something that you always want to try and get on the board, and that's going to be a great run there for him. I'll tell you what, that was sweet. He was looking for his McNasties as well as getting some air bonuses. That was a beautiful run for sure.
Yeah, real good. That's that entry move there where he just came around, unfortunately flushing straight off the end. But then the aerial shot, that big McNasty that he did, you can't quite see how much air he got, but you could see it coming round. That was that McNasty, the opposite direction, looking for it. Maybe coming off a little bit sideways, not quite landing straight enough.
Now, actually, Ibo, I'm reading his bio. He wasn't actually supposed to compete until one of the qualified junior athletes dislocated his shoulder. And therefore, he was a substitute and came in. And he's doing such a great job. What a great sub he has been. And he also likes pizza, apparently.
Who doesn't like pizza?
16 years of age, hails out of France. Alan doing a great job of those McNasties in the left and right direction. 76 points. So I would say possibly the McNasties, maybe one judge might have given it to him, but maybe not every judge. So that's quite interesting to see, because the McNasty's 120 points. So if one judge gives it, then they get a third of the value of that move. If 2 judges give them that move, then they get 2/3 of the value of that move. And if everyone gets it, then they get the full value. Joris Burns now coming down from Team Germany.
Yeah, Germany, another big team, loud supporters. You can hear them cheering every single move that Joris is landing. A quick roll straight onto the sprint. I'd definitely say that he hadn't completed his roll before he started sprinting. That's how much he wants to get back up and onto the feature. He's wasted no time. He's got like 26 seconds there, dropping onto the feature. Over half his ride, plenty of time. Looking for them big McNasties. Definitely a favorite trick of these junior men to be pulling off. Like we keep saying, they're big points, especially when you get the bonuses on there. Just catching that tail, surfing around, getting a bit sprayed. Last 10 seconds now for him. This is the time where you try and set up one of your biggest moves.
Oh, that was the one. You see his bow just end up slightly towards the right there at the end of it, so that's going to be close if it counts or not, but he really pulled it out. And this guy's 17 years of age. 2016 German champion. 2018 he was second in the German champion. He started kayaking when he was 11 years old. With his stepdad took him in the Canoe Club. He loves kayaking holes, waves, white water, because he loves the feeling of being at one with the water and to throw tricks. And Joris throwing down here at Sword, doing a great job at trying to get his boat aerial up and out of the middle. This is the McNasty we're talking about. See how hard he actually got. He got his whole body back towards the boat. Super important to try and get that air. But he just threw it, I would say he threw it just a little bit too early. If he delayed it even a little bit longer, I would say it probably would have come around a little bit nicer. And yeah, there he goes. The score first run is 50 points. He'll definitely look to try and improve on that.
So rounding off the second heat of the men is Gabriel from Sweden. The Swedes have quite a small team this year. I think there's only 4 or 5 of them who you definitely know when they're around. They're eager to learn, taking every opportunity to be on the feature throughout training. supporting each other nice and loud.
Now, Gabriel, in his bio, 16 years of age. In his spare time, really doesn't do much but paddling and hanging out with his girlfriend. And a not very experienced kayaker, he says, because of just paddling since last summer. So only a year of paddling is already on the world stage. That's pretty awesome.
It's quite a progression for someone.
1 year of paddling, and now he's paddling in front of the world. It's a very big opportunity to improve, he says, and learn and to get some great experience. And absolutely, what a great experience for this athlete. First competition, only been paddling a year ago. How awesome is this for Team Sweden now to be a part of this festival and join the world's best? And you can, when they're training, you could be sitting right next to multiple world champions.
Yeah, that's one of the unique beauties of kayak freestyle. It doesn't matter who it is that next year, you're always going to have a nice chat in the eddy. Hopefully not at this point in his ride, though. Hopefully he's going to concentrate on sprinting back up.
Yeah,
still plenty of time, over 30 seconds left, so 2/3 of his ride. Just coming in now, back into that feature. Looking set up, looking for that front loop. Saw his head go up, looking for that air, maybe just rolling off on the side, spinning round on the shoulder. Sometimes you've just got to let the water do its thing to you. Spin you around, not fight it too much. Sometimes it's when you fight too much that you actually flush off the feature.
Yeah, just gets a little bit of a bobble over that shoulder. So we're talking about the shoulders on either side. There's quite, it's more than just a little feature. There's so much to a wave that you have to read. So kayakers will sit and watch a feature and learn about its different dynamics. It's kind of like opening up a book. So if I was snowboarding and I was in a half pipe, the half pipe will generally stay consistent. There might be a little bit icy at times and the like. However, here, the dynamics of whitewater are continually changing. Everything changes. Rocks change. The water levels change. Unfortunately, he's not going to get any points for that run, but he'll look to improve for his next run. The idea is to sit and read. So you almost become someone who can read whitewater like you could read a book. And it takes a bit of time, but these athletes will sit and look at the wave, and you can see sometimes downstream V's forming, which you can see right on the screen right now. On the top left of the screen, there's a downstream V, and that's what we're going to be calling the flush line, because it's pretty flushy over there.
All right, Doug dropping back in from the side this time. Surfing around, using the slightly faster water to push himself up to the top of that big white foamy pile. That's where you want to initiate almost all of the tricks here. Just catching an edge, spinning around on his head and rolling back up. Eyes are firmly set back on the feature as he sprints back up. The Irish cheering, whistling, whooping, all from the side as he drops back on now. What tricks is he going to go for? He's looking for that McNasty.
Yeah, he'll be stoked if that one counts. Absolutely awesome, trying to move it around. Looking for that McNasty in the other direction to try and sell it to the judges. That's a high-scoring move, as we said. It just gets, again, that flush line. That flush line's super important, isn't it? You've really got to stay retained in that feature.
Yeah, that's the trick. Being in the feature from second 1 to second number 45. If you're there throughout the entire ride, you've got way more time to be throwing your tricks down, scoring these points and convincing the judges that you deserve to be there and progress through to round 2. We see beautiful McNasty there coming round, maybe sliding off just to the side at the end of it, but that's all for the judges to decide. They're fully trained up. They've got lots of experience between them. So that's 40 points for his second ride there. Big improvement, 56 points overall. You know, currently sitting in 3rd place, I think. Not a bad ride there from him at all. An improvement into ride 2. So now all he's got to do, high-five the coach. I think that's Tom Dunphy. He's
a character, isn't he?
He's an international favorite.
Everyone knows Tom. Everyone knows Tom, no matter what you paddle. All right, we're going to move on to Team Canada. Looks like Cole's about to have his second run.
Yeah, he's looking for that entry move again, dropping in, trying to keep that head clean. Retains it this time. I think he flushed on his last one. Retains it this time, scores some very quick points. Looking for that McNasty yet again. Surfing around, making use of the entire feature. Nice front loop, landing it real straight upstream, selling it to the judges. Space Godzilla rotating it onto its side. That's a 90-degree rotation during the front flip.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the first Space Godzilla I think we've seen probably score in this competition so far.
Yeah, usually one of the easier moves, but this feature makes it a little bit more tricky.
Looking for that split, isn't he? That split wheel, really hard to come around on the tail. It just gets a little bit caught as he's going for it, but then still gets some spins on the board at least.
Yeah, not a bad ride at all there from young Cole. A good variety of tricks throughout that. The Canadians cheering on, loud and proud. Here we see you're coming around, keeping that head nice and dry, flicking the tail of his boat all the way over. That takes some doing. And then this is his nice big front loop. Really sells it, keeping it nice and straight. We see it pointing directly upstream there.
Yeah, doing a great job at trying to retain the feature. Remember, only moves that are done or completed in the feature count. There's no point doing any moves just on the back flush line. 443 points, Cole. Currently, it says first position, but obviously we've already had an over 1,000 point ride, so I'm guessing that's probably not quite accurate. He says he's been growing up on the Kanasaskis River in Canada. I'm sorry if I brutally killed that. And many of the rivers of the Canadian Rockies. Intended world-class academy in Paddle to Eastern Canada. We're going to move on to Team France. Here we go.
Looking for that kickflip entry. Rotating around a little bit there. It already looks like maybe an improvement on that first ride. Rocking a few moves out. Oh, an unfortunate flush there as he went for the McNasty. Eyes are straight back on that eddy. He's got plenty of time to paddle back up. It's already looking like an improved ride for him on his second run.
Yeah, that's Allen now throwing it around, trying to get that loop, staying retained for that loop, keeping in there, doing a good job at trying to go for the back cartwheel initiation. This is looking for the McNasty. Now he's going to use the shoulder to try and set up. You can't really do these moves in the bottom of the foam pile. You have to try and get to the top. There it is. Oh. There's that McNasty. He'll be stoked about getting that on the board.
Yeah, right in the last second there. We saw him rotate backwards. Hopefully the judges deem that as an initiation. Yeah. He was backwards on that last second as the buzzer was going before he brought it all the way around into that beautiful McNasty.
That's the one. You can see him going in for that nice loop, McNasty move. Yeah, trying to get as much air, and that's where we just get a little bit flush. Look how close he was to the back of his kayak as he was throwing that McNasty. For all the juniors out there who are learning their McNasty, if you can get as close to that back of the kayak, the more air you're going to get, the more pop you're going to get.
All right, that second ride there for Allen, 130 points. So a bit of an improvement, 206 points in total for them two rides. Not bad at all. That looks like second place for his heat. Not sure how it measures up against heat number one though, but he should be happy with that. Coming up next is Joris from Germany, sporting a very colourful Gigi boat made out of carbon. As it looks, maybe he was looking for an entry two, got it quite vertical, quite nice. Straight round into that McNasty, wasting absolutely no time. Oh, big air there on that one. Looking straight for the front loop from that.
This feature is shallow. A lot of the athletes are hitting the bottom on those tricks. It's a challenging feature for some of these. I think what people consider to be the standard or easier moves here have actually been some of the hardest to pull off consistently. Paddling back up into the feature, you can see Coach Jason Craig on the rocks there. Jason Craig was actually here with all of the juniors doing an open training program to give them some coaching and development, I think sponsored by the ICF.
Yeah, it's a quite cool opportunity there for all the juniors alongside the competition. And that's the final buzzer. Oh, you heard him tap the bottom there, but still threw huge. Whether or not it was in time, that's the judge's call, but it was a big move to finish off.
Valiant effort for sure. We'll have Gabriel from Sweden next.
Yeah, Gabriel coming up next. He scored nothing on his first ride, but he says in his bio that he's here to learn, so I'm sure he's going to do a lot of learning on this one. We're going to see some lovely slow motion shots here of Joris. That big McNasty all the way out of the water.
All of these competitors in the junior class between 15 and 18 years of age. So there's actually a very narrow window. Ooh, coming in with a score of 270 points combined on his 2 runs. So again, 2 runs, both count in this preliminary heat as athletes try and make it through to the first cut.
Yeah, so there's big pressure on this first one. You don't get to drop a ride, so every trick counts, every second counts.
The judge is looking to reward consistency to try and get the most consistent paddlers through. We've got Gabriel from Sweden up here.
Oh, that looked like he was going to be a big front loop, unfortunately just popping out, maybe tagging the floor on that, stopping the front rotation.
Gabriel opting to get as much sunshine as possible here in sunny Sort, going for a no skin to wind look, really. No dry top, no thermal layers, trying to be fast as possible, making his way back up the eddy, already back in the feature, still has 20 seconds on the clock. Maybe looking to go for a spin, trying for that loop again.
Oh, an unfortunate flush there for Gabriel right in the end, his last 10 seconds. It looks like he doesn't think he's got enough time to get back up. So a couple of fantastic rides there from Gabriel. It looked like he was really giving it all, his all, really trying hard to get them big moves. Fantastic first experience, especially when you consider he's only been paddling for about a year now.
It is, and it's all about, I think, at this point for many of these kids, you know, learning, getting experience, and just being able to progress through the sport. You know, coming into, he's probably got 1 more year as maybe as a junior, or maybe hoping to make a senior team in the future here. But being able to develop these paddlers from that junior age is great. Unfortunately, finishing with a 0 combined. But still, what an experience to be here, 16 years old, competing for your country in Sort, in Spain, amongst all these other athletes.
Yeah, it's pretty mad. I imagine right now he's seeing a lot of his idols. As you see, from this heat, Cole takes the win, 443 points. Some big rides there. We're not sure quite how they mix in with Heat 1. All right, right now we've got Jez down in the mix zone, ready to have a chat with one of our athletes from that heat.
We're joined right now with Dara from Team Island. Hey, thanks for joining us. And what is it like being a part of this amazing festival? This is your first ever competition. What's it like being part on the world stage?
It's different. You have to kind of chill out and just relax. Like, my first run was a bit panicky, and then you kind of just get into it. It's warmer than Ireland, much warmer. And it's just kind of, it's just different.
Yeah, so obviously we've got a bit of a different feature. You've been doing a bit of training at Nottingham. That's a fairly stable feature. This is quite a dynamic feature. What's it like making the transition between that and here?
It's more like a wave. You have to surf it like a wave, and then you're obviously doing hold tricks and wave tricks. A flatter, I don't know, I much rather this feature.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with us in the world, and good luck for the rest of the competition.
Thank you very much.
We are back here coming into preliminary heat 3 of the junior men's kayak. We've got Tosty from Sweden, Hunter Vincent from Canada, Shawn Noonan from Ireland, Fabian Tao from Germany, and Ben Hickson from Great Britain. So 5 athletes competing in this heat. We are again in the preliminary rounds here, 2 rides, both count. These athletes are going to be looking to try and make it through to the cut. I'm joined with Lowry Davis from Great Britain.
Hi.
Lowry, how's your week in Sort been for you so far?
Oh, it's amazing. It's so hot though. I think the difficulty is actually trying to stay cool enough, which is a strange thing for British people to be complaining about.
Absolutely. I've seen a lot of your teammates actually out in the sun trying to get as much sun as possible. You can pick which of the teams are from the cold countries for sure.
Yeah, that's right. They're actually having a bit of a competition, a tanning contest that's running alongside the World Championships right now.
Yeah, the ICF World Championship tanning contest. I don't know if you'll be disqualified for using tanning agents such as lotions or oils, but we will see how that plays out for your team. It's really exciting to see the development amongst these young junior paddlers. I know we've had Jason Craig out on the water with a lot of the junior paddlers this week, offering coaching and feedback. You also do a bit of coaching with juniors,
Yeah,
is that correct?
Right. Yeah, it's super exciting, and we've got some of the younger ones coming through now. In this heat is one of our youngest ones from the UK, Ben Hickson. He's only 14, 15 later this year. So he's probably one of the younger athletes we'll see, because in these internationals there is actually an age limit, a younger age limit. So they can't compete until the year that they turn 15.
We've got our first paddler, that is Tosty from Sweden, dropping into the hole, going for that entry move. Going for a loop with air. Again, looking for that bonus. Catching an unfortunate edge and flushing. That's right, he's still got heaps of time. Again, the paddlers have 45 seconds to use the feature to the best of their advantage. If they flush out, they have to paddle up one of the two eddies on either side to try and make it back to the feature before the time stops.
Yeah, and they can't score any points unless they're in the feature, and their tricks have to land in the feature to score. So the judges are looking at whether or not their moves not only meet the criteria, but whether they stay in the feature when they finish the move as well.
And paddling back up that eddy is tiring. You'll see a lot of paddlers get a little bit flustered. And for many of these juniors, they haven't had as much competition experience as some of the seniors, but a lot of them still really paddling well, putting strong rides together. Then we'll get some replay of that beautiful aerial loop there.
Yeah, that was pretty huge, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him the huge bonus for that as well as the air bonus.
Yeah, up next, we're going to have young hunter Vincent from Canada. It is Canada Day today, which is Canada's national holiday. So I know a lot of the Canadian paddlers are just excited to be celebrating by being out on the water and competing. Here we are with that first ride score of 153.33. Solid start. Got to feel good just to get points on the board.
Yeah, for sure. And, in this preliminary round, they get 2 rides, and both of them count. So you don't get any throwaway rounds in the first round, which is, it's a tough start, really.
It can be stressful. But, all right, here we go. Canada's young Hunter Vincent, his first time on the Canadian national team. Looking to start things off with an entry move, rocking the red of the Canadian flag. So he maybe tries to spin it around, maybe looking for a McNasty. Staying in the feature. Doing a really good job of just trying to be in the feature, moving around, trying to set up for those bigger scoring tricks.
Yeah, it can be quite tough in this feature because it does fluctuate a little bit as it's kind of bouncing around. So it can be hard to get into the right position to set up your big tricks. So you'll see these guys like moving themselves around in the feature. And they're not getting any points during that time, but it can be time well spent if it gets you set up to get the perfect trick.
Hunter's got only 7 seconds left. He is paddling frantically to try and make it back up the eddy, maybe just initiate one more trick before the buzzer, and unfortunately that is time. All that effort, and then...
Oh, it happens so often. It just seems like sod's law, doesn't it?
It's crazy the way time works when you're competing. 45 seconds can feel either really long or really short.
For sure. Yeah, often when you tell people that you get 45 seconds, they're like, oh my God, that is not very long. But so often you get to like 30 seconds and you're so tired already.
Get that feedback of trying for that big aerial, maybe a Space Godzilla. See what the judges say. I competed in the squirt boat class earlier this week, and it was 1 minute rides for squirt boating, and my parents were watching. They're like, no, you must have been paddling for at least 3 minutes. Hunter with a 43.33 points. Again, points on the board.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to get some points up there for sure in this, and I think we're cutting to semi-finals for the junior boys, so that's top 10.
Wow, that is a tough cut to make.
It is a tough cut, yeah, for sure.
Shawn Noonan from Ireland dropping in. I think this again is another one of our younger paddlers here in this competition, here from Ireland at his first Worlds. The Irish freestyle community is one that has definitely been developing a lot in the last few years, going for a spin, just playing it safe, starting it off, maybe getting an accidental loop out of that, rolling up as he's still in the feature.
Almost managed to retain that. Just sprinting his way back into the area. I can hear the Irish team cheering him on. It's such a great sense of community in that Irish team. I was actually over in Ireland for one of their big events, the Galway Festival earlier this year. If you've not heard of it, give it a Google. It is such a cool event. Some big races and a bit of a freestyle.
Oh, going for the McNasty. Unfortunately, just catching his edge and flushing out. Still a strong first ride for young Shawn from Ireland.
Yeah, Shawn is part of a big family from Ireland. He has several siblings who are also paddlers, and it's really cool to see them all on the water together and supporting one another.
It says here he's a triplet. I wonder if one of them will try and swap out if he makes it through the next round.
One of them's a girl, so I don't think that would work.
That's unfortunate. Loving this instant replay from these camera angles here. And I think there's also a big screen. So what we're seeing here on the live stream, the spectators in the stands as well as the athletes have the chance to see themselves on the big screen in the stadium feature here in Sort, which is pretty special.
Yeah, it's awesome being able to look up and see yourself in slow-mo replay.
Shawn Noonan with 10 points, so at least nailing one of those spin moves. It's got another ride. He should be still just excited to be out here competing here in beautiful Sort, Spain.
Yeah, apparently this is not only his first World Championships, but this is actually his first time kayaking abroad. So that's pretty exciting.
That is really exciting. I think that's one of the best things about this World. Oh, we've got young Fabian Tao from Germany up. Working hard to retain that feature with an unfortunate flush here. This is happening to a lot of the athletes. This is a challenging feature to figure out where to do your tricks.
I think tactics are going to be a big thing, especially in this first round, getting yourself through in that top 10. You're going to want to make sure you do some safe moves first, so you retain in the feature and don't waste time and energy going up that eddy. But like we said, it is a tough feature to get yourself set up for your big tricks. So you see now Fabian looking for that McNasty, unfortunately just not quite getting it yet. He's got 10 seconds left, so he's going to work hard to try and get that big move in just before the end. Looking for a big air loop
on the buzzer. That was beautiful. Well played by Fabian there.
Performing well under pressure. That's what you need in competition.
It is. It's really, I think, incredible just to see the level of competition increase year after year with these junior paddlers. As soon as one junior moves on into the senior men's class, there's just another to keep eyes on. And
oh, for sure. And there's been a big transition, I think, since the last World Championships. A lot have moved up, so now it's going to be a completely different set of medals, which is super exciting.
Yeah, the podium is really open for the taking at this point. It is anyone's game here in Sort, Spain. It's 2019 ICF Freestyle World Championships. We've got one more paddler to take his first ride in this heat. Young Ben Hickson from Great Britain. Up Fabian, waiting for his score, 90 points. Getting that air bonus on that loop.
For sure. And we saw him performing well there under the pressure of the clock ticking away. The very last minute, he got that air loop in there and scored that 90 points.
Keeping his composure. I see young Ben Hickson here. As Lowry said, 14 years old, from Great Britain, his first World Championship. This is a kid that spends most of his time in, I think, the play parks of Nottingham and also...
Yeah, he lives near Cardiff as well, so that's where he spends a lot of time. I remember seeing him when he must have only been about 10 years old, tiny in his little
shooting star.
Yeah. And here he goes for his first ride, looking for an entry move.
Maybe getting entry one out of that, but more importantly, staying in the feature, spinning it around. I know his mom Lizette is here cheering him on in the stands. Ben looking very color coordinated there, matching the boat to the helmet. Again, look good, feel good, paddle good. It's a really thing here. Oh, trying to bounce up, set around for that McNasty setup. Going for the spins. Ben capable of throwing these big aerial moves like that loop. Oh, an unfortunate edge flush for a young Ben.
Yeah, he's charging into the eddy now, going to try and make his way back up. He has 13 seconds left, which should be just enough to get back in and do one trick. So let's see if he can throw down something big in his last few seconds. What has he got for us? Looking for the McNasty, flipping the boat over his head. We'll see what the judges say about that one.
I know, it is a tough call. We are in a different angle from the judges. We are seeing things differently. It's hard to know what they're going to score and what they're not. I think for everybody, there's just that level of anticipation as you just sit and wait and watch for the scores to come in. As an athlete, you just want to do your best and feel that you've done your best, and it's...
Oh, it was such a nice loop we saw there on the replay. Unfortunately, he just flipped over as he landed. So again, we'll have to see what the judges say, whether they deem that move to have landed before he flipped, or whether or not they think he flipped during the move. And that will determine whether or not they award him the points for that cool move.
Still showing off a beautiful roll to make his way back up. You know, someone once asked me, what's the best trick you can do in a kayak? I was like, the roll. Oh, Ben's score coming in at 10 points, so unfortunately lots of room to improve on for his next ride.
Yeah, it looks like the judges decided that that flip was during the front loop move, so not scoring that, just getting his spin.
But now we are back to the top of the order here in Heat 3 of the junior men's preliminary rounds with Tosty Junka from Sweden paddling into the eddy. Again, Sweden getting, I think, a bigger and bigger team each year. Exciting to see 2 of their junior paddlers competing here this year. Unfortunately, flushing off. Still got loads of time.
Yeah, this Junka is he's 18, so he's one of the older ones, but this is also his first international competition. So it's just as much of a big first occasion for some of the older athletes as it is for the youngsters.
Showing off that strong forward paddle stroke, looking for maybe a loop or a Space Godzilla, going for the plug. Oh, almost an accidental plug. He is still in the feature, perfectly set up to try for one more trick. Working out to the corners. You can see the greener part of the wave there makes it easier to spin it around just like that. Beautifully done. Oh, and then spinning it right off the wave.
Very elegant.
Yes. It's like, that's my time, thank you. No. Well played by young Tosty? I believe it says on his profile here that he started kayaking with his dad. Again, kayaking, just an amazing family-friendly sport. A lot of these younger junior paddlers getting their starts due to older siblings or parents who paddle. And amazing to see so many of them out here with their families, supporting them, and then hopefully making use of the amazing white water on this river, both upstream and downstream of the feature.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about this venue here in Salt.
A combined score of 193.33, so hopefully he's not quite as strong a score as his first ride, but hopefully he'll feel happy with that. Yeah, have you had a chance to go and paddle upstream or downstream at all?
Not on this trip, but I've been to Salt quite a few times, and yeah, I love the rivers. Both the section upstream is really nice, and downstream is so pretty. It's such a beautiful gorge section.
All right, Canada's Hunter Vincent, his teammates Luke and Cole are in the earlier 2 heats here. All of them celebrating Canada Day today, hoping to do their best representing their country. Maybe they'll go and drink some maple syrup after a nice Space Godzilla from Hunter. Again, all of these forward landing tricks have to land within 20 degrees of upstream, looking to complete the spin, going for a loop or a Space Godzilla the other direction. Looks like he's shaking off the nerves a little bit from his first ride. Going for that
move after move now.
Finding his rhythm. I know sometimes you wish there was 3 rides in prelims, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. So quarterfinal setup, you do actually get 3 rides, and you get to drop one of them, and you just feel a bit more relaxed because you know that there's always one ride you can get rid of.
Hunter going for that McNasty. I think he looks a lot happier with that ride. See Team Canada cheering him on, looking festive in the stands there. Those are 2 of his teammates.
So I saw in his profile that he used to have a dog sled team. That's pretty exciting.
Did he really? Yeah, Hunter's from the Yukon, actually, I believe. And his family, also kayakers, they travel all over in their RV to try and find rivers where it's warmer, which I think is most of the year other places are warmer than the Yukon.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, what a lifestyle, though, living out of an RV as a family. There's quite a few families here who have that lifestyle, and it's pretty inspirational.
It is. You see a lot more paddlers really adopting that van life or that RV life, trying to move around and find the best white water. And really a great community building thing because you end up seeing the same people. Oh, Hunter getting a 180 on his second ride for a combined score of 223.3. I see a fist pump. He's excited with that. That's got to feel good. Yeah, there is parents and Team Canada cheering him on. What a way to celebrate your national holiday. Competing in your first World Championships.
Yeah, it's something like you're not going to forget that your entire life. Maybe.
No, that is definitely a good one. We've got Shawn Noonan from Ireland up. And Shawn's also, I believe, his first world championship here, first time paddling abroad.
That's right.
Couldn't really pick much of a better or more beautiful spot. I think I've seen a lot of the Irish out trying to enjoy the sunshine this week as well.
Yeah, although I'm not sure they're getting involved in the tanning contest.
All right, looking to start off strong from the eddy. Trying to set up, looking for that spin, keeping those eyes upstream. Oh, catching an unfortunate edge, but managing to stay in the feature, showing some good control, good awareness as he goes for that other spin. Again, as Lowry said, he's playing it safe, nice conservative tricks, get some points on the board before maybe trying for that bigger trick like the McNasty or one of those front aerial loops. Getting just thrown in the air.
Oh, he plugged so high, but unfortunately just got rejected by the feature and ended up quite far downstream with only 10 seconds to go. He's going to have to work super hard to make it. I'm not sure he's getting there. But that was such a shame. That would have gone so massive.
It's a bit like Goldilocks and Three Bears, this feature, isn't it? It's like one's a little bit too big, like you have to plug just a little bit too much or a little bit too little, and you've just got to find that exact perfect right fit to get the trick you want.
Yeah. And that's really hard to do when you've got time pressure. It's one thing in training when, you know, you don't have everybody watching you and the clock ticking away behind you. But it's, yeah, once you're in competition and you're trying to do it under pressure to try and find that exact sweet spot, it's so much harder.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's just, it's crazy. It's like everything seems to almost black out for a minute, doesn't it? You're like in your 45 seconds, you're like, I don't know what's happening. And you can see that in some of these young athletes as they build competition experience here in the World Championships. All right, while we wait for Shawn's score, I can see Fabian getting ready to go. Shawn is scoring 10 points in that ride, staying consistent with 20 points, but still.
For his first event, I think he's going to be fairly happy.
Yeah, you can see that teammate or parent over there congratulating him. All right, Fabian.
Here we go with Fabian.
Looking to start things off with the McNasty right off the bat, not wasting time, going for the McNasty the other direction. Trying to get his body back upstream ahead of the rotation of the boat to help him retain the feature. Oh, going for a cartwheel, unfortunately, off the feature.
He still has plenty of time, so he's going to make his way as quickly as he can back up that eddy and back onto the feature to throw some more tricks. That first McNasty looked pretty sweet, so that's a fairly good start to his ride, but he's going to want to back that up if he wants to be in that top 10 to make semi-finals.
He had that beautiful loop his last ride.
That's right. Oh, now we've got the 10-second buzzer. Can he do another one?
Let's see.
Right on the buzzer like he did
Going
before.
for maybe a phonics monkey, maybe being able to get a pirouette out of that.
Just flushing off.
But still, what a way to showcase the skill and hard work that it's taken to get here, get to this point, making your national team. Yeah. Lowry's going to be heading to the mix zone to interview one of the athletes from these heats here in just a minute as we watch this instant replay. Here we are in preliminary heat 3 of the junior men at the 2019 ICF Canoe Freestyle World Championships. We still have 3 more heats of preliminary rounds of juniors to go. This is a big day for our first day here at the freestyle venue. And there is a lot of excitement in the air. People are filling in, coming to watch their teammates, such as bib number 97, Fabian. Fabian coming in here. See him warming up. 170. All right. We have our 1 more paddler to go here in preliminary heat number 3 of the junior men. Young Ben Hickson from Great Britain, choosing to drop in from above the feature, looking for that entry move, but deciding just to say, no, I'm just going to stay it safe, stay here, hoping to get a McNasty. I have seen this kid throw massive aerial tricks. I know he is capable of it. Going for a McNasty, trying to maybe cartwheel out of it, spinning around into the McNasty the other direction. Doing a really wonderful job of leading his boat rotation with his body. Oh, getting a loop with maybe a huge bonus if he manages to stick it in the feature. You can feel the tension for these young paddlers as their parents, their teammates, everyone just wants to see them do as well as they can. 13 seconds left. Ben paddling up, setting up, looking to maybe try for a loop move again. Oh, unfortunately, flushing out, and that will be his second ride. Giving a fist pump, people still cheering. It's tough. A lot of athletes put quite a lot of pressure on themselves. You set high expectations, knowing what your skill level is as you come in, and you have a realistically very short period of time to try and adapt to a new feature. A lot of paddlers have been here for almost 2 weeks, trying to get as much time in as possible. Training, we had a week of team training where athletes are able to coach each other and help each other out, but for a lot of these paddlers, you've had only 2 or 3 rides per day leading up to this competition, and it's just not enough to feel extremely confident going in. Ben getting 200 points on his second ride for a total of 210 points. You can see he's a little bit disappointed, but luckily he's got a lot more time to show his skill here at a future World Championship. The next future World, here we are with the results from that heat. Hunter Vincent with a 223, Ben with a 210. Tosty from Sweden, 193, Fabian from Germany, 170, and Shawn from Ireland with 20 points. So the level of competition is high. We're going to head to the mix zone for an interview with one of our athletes from this heat.
I am here with Hunter, who just did an awesome second ride in his prelims. How was it, Hunter?
It was really awesome.
And how is it to be here doing your first rides on Canada Day?
It feels amazing. I still can't even believe that I'm here at Worlds in Spain. It's just so great.
And how's it been in Sort? Are you enjoying the town?
I'm loving it. It's a great small town with lots of fun things to do.
Yeah, it's been great. Have you had a chance to paddle the river?
Unfortunately, not yet.
Hopefully, maybe after the contest, but you need to focus on your competition for now. So, well done so far. What's your favorite trick in the feature?
Probably huge loops.
They're always satisfying, right? And who are you here with? Are your family here with you?
Yes, I'm here with my parents.
Awesome. That must be so nice to have your family here supporting you, cheering you on. I can see them in the crowd cheering you on, waving the flag.
It's truly awesome to have a good team of supporters here.
Well, thank you very much and well done, Hunter.
So nice to see the stoke from these young athletes, such as Hunter, here in his first World Championship. We're taking a little break here, letting the judges rest their eyes for a second as we get ready for the preliminary heat number 4 of our 6 preliminary heats in the K1 Junior Men's here at the 2019 ICF Canoe Freestyle World Championships in Sort, Spain. We've got a number of young athletes here. Each team is allowed to submit up to 3 junior men to represent their country. The past World Champion winner, Tom Dole from France, actually moved up into the senior men's this year. So it does leave things wide open for that podium stance, but we're going to take a short break for now, and we're going to play a short video for you here, so enjoy. And we are back here again, once still waiting for heat number 4 to kick off. You know, it's a long day for those judges and for all of the volunteers that help make this event happen. I think these little breaks are much appreciated, to get a drink of water, maybe get a quick snack, maybe dunk your head in the river to try and cool off here in the heat of the day. It's the town of Sort to make it happen.
And it has been amazing to see how this town has really got behind this event. They absolutely love freestyle kayaking, or kayaking generally. It's such a big part of the town here, and everyone loves the river and the sort of culture that's here. And that's one of the things that I really love coming to this town for.
We have the heat list up for preliminary heat 4. That's going to be Turka Mutikainen from Finland, Panayotis Trigas from Austria, Leon from Germany, Pol from Spain, and Sergei from Russia. So really international heat here every single competitor from a different country. How cool is that?
That is awesome. And in fact, it is pretty much what we're getting in every single heat, which shows just the great range of countries that these competitors come from. So we're now in the first ride of Turki, and he's been spinning the boat around looking for some tricks, trying to get some points on the board. Like we say, it's nice sometimes to get a few easy tricks done so that you've got a few points. Looking for a nice little blunt using that shoulder there.
Maybe getting a shove-it on one of those earlier tricks. We'll see what the judges decide. I can see him feeling the pressure as he up the eddy. That 10-second buzzer, so only 45 seconds to make the most of what probably for a lot of these athletes has been 2 years or more of training to get to this point.
That's right. And he went straight in for a plug for the loop there, unfortunately not paying off. But we saw earlier in the previous heat how sometimes going for that last-minute plug can really
Did
pay
you
off.
see him hit the rock on that cartwheel end on that instant replay?
Oh, it can be so brutal here.
But still, what an incredible feature that they have managed to build in just a year's time. Turki getting 11.67 points.
Yeah, so I'm guessing maybe that was the judges thinking he has a spin, and one of the judges giving him that shove-it, I think.
I like that judge.
Yeah.
No, I like all the judges. And again, we really couldn't run this event without them and all their hard work. And I would hate to be sat in their position right now.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
We get to call the tricks as we see them with having none of the pressure of making sure that we are fully correct. So again, anything that we are saying, please remember we are not the judges. We are just calling the tricks as we see them from our own vantage point here. But now we've got Penna from, I thought it was Austria, but excuse me, it's actually Australia. Again, the Australians is really another freestyle team to keep your eyes on. There's a lot of up-and-coming young paddlers from this island nation. I know that Jez and Claire O'Hara, former world champion, have been doing a lot to develop the junior scene, and I'm sure they're here cheering on these young paddlers, keeping their fingers crossed to see their progress.
Yeah, they give a great deal of time and energy to promote the sport and to support these junior athletes. And so I'm sure they've been like giving a lot of coaching time and also helping them out. When it's your first big competition, it can be really daunting. So
I think it's one of the best parts about the sport is that you see the older athletes giving back to the younger ones, making time to coach, making time to review video feedback, and really trying to help each athlete paddle to their full potential. And it's really a very, for all of the competitive vibe, it's a really supportive community, a very supportive sport.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's kept me doing it for so long. So we have 30 points on the board then.
For Panagiotis. I'm probably butchering that name, and I do apologize to all of his friends and family watching back home.
We're doing our best with the names. Next up, I'll take the easy one. We have a Leon from Germany.
Leon from Germany. I can see him sitting in the zone waiting to paddle on from the eddy. Athletes have two choices. They can either paddle on from either eddy, river right or river left, or drop on from above. Leon taking the safer route, perhaps, paddling on from the side, setting things up, looking for maybe a spin or a McNasty, switching it around. Trying for that McNasty. I'm not sure what that was, but it was actually quite cool.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
There it is, maybe getting a McNasty on that one before just catching his bow. Again, a really popular trick to set up here. This feature tends to set you up well to feel like you're like, yes, this is when I should McNasty.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's a really fast feature, so it's got the power. It really does give you a great deal of pop if you manage to get the right spot. So we will see a lot of big tricks happening here. A lot of people getting nice big air.
Trying for a spin, maybe getting some air unintentionally. Looking, trying to keep those eyes back upstream. I feel like that's one of those basic tenets or the few commandments of freestyle kayaking, isn't it? You can really see him trying to look back upstream, lead ahead, getting that spin right on the buzzer, trying to just get some points on the board.
So with the buzzer, if you've initiated your trick before the buzzer goes off, you will score that trick. So even if it completes after the buzzer, you initiated it beforehand, so it does still count. So it's really worth going right up until the buzzer. And even if you think that the trick is not going to count, throw it anyway, because you never know. The judges might still give it.
Absolutely, and I think that did pay off for Leon with that last spin there. 40 points for his first ride.
Yeah, Yeah, I think he'll be a little bit disappointed not to get that McNasty in there. He was definitely trying for it, so hopefully in his second ride we'll see him throw another one of those.
Absolutely. It's always that moment of, did I get it? Did I not? And then here we are.
Hold your breath waiting for the scores to come up on the board.
Well, I can hear the local crowd cheering on Spanish paddler Paul Montserrat Lopez.
Yeah, this is, although we would say that he has home advantage, but the feature was built so recently that actually no one really has a home advantage here, which is actually like kind of cool. That was a really cool McNasty there from Paul.
Yeah, beautiful McNasty. Maybe even getting the air bonus on that, coming over right over the top, looking for a lunar orbit. That was beautiful. I wouldn't be surprised if current world champion Keem has been giving a little bit of coaching or tips to his young team here. Going for a beautiful loop, getting that aerial bonus, looking to carve out to the side, setting up nice and high. Yes, looking for a cartwheel, maybe a split wheel. Oh, the tricky woo.
He's getting all the big scoring tricks down, showing us how to utilize this feature.
These are tricks that, you know, not that long ago we would really only be seeing in the senior men's class, and really to see the junior men putting them down in the preliminary rounds is incredibly impressive. This is a great first ride for Paul, but he's just so stoked to be in there. He just doesn't want to leave yet. No, one more trick, please, one more trick. I would probably do that too.
I mean, when you're having a good ride, for sure, you know, you just get a really good vibe going. You feel so stoked on what's happening. And almost it feeds into itself. So once you get a couple good tricks, then you sort of really get into your stride, and it's
find the
much
rhythm.
easier to then do some more big tricks.
There's been so much research coming out recently about, you know, the flow state mentality, and that kind of accompanies it in these extreme or adrenaline style sports. And I feel like freestyle kayaking is just a perfect example of that, of when you almost reach that flow state and your body takes over and it knows what to do. It feels the setup. It knows what's happening before your brain can even think it sometimes. And you can see that happen.
You see in this feature quite often. Especially like if something doesn't quite go to plan, you see the experienced boaters turn it into something else.
Exactly, just that intuition of knowing how to react. That's going to be a strong ride score for young Paul here, I'm sure, as he's sitting and waiting. The judges are taking a little while to tabulate that up, probably checking over to see what they said. Oh, a 576.67.
That's an incredible first ride score from Paul. He should be stoked with that.
Yeah, he looks like he'll take it.
Yeah, all right. Do that again then.
I'm sure he would have liked to get that second McNasty in before the buzzer, but
he has another ride to go yet, so maybe we'll see him step it up once again.
Again, I'm pretty sure that these paddlers here, so we've got 5 paddlers, 6 heats. I'm not very good at math, but that's a lot of paddlers to be cutting down to only 10 for the semifinals. So the pressure is on for these paddlers to do their best. 2 rides, both count. Ooh. We have
Sergei from Russia, unfortunately just flushing out of the feature, so he's going to have to charge his way back up the eddy into the feature. He has 30 seconds left though, so there's definitely enough time to get into the feature and still do quite a few tricks.
The Russian paddlers, there was another Russian junior in the first heat as well, so cool to see the Russian team out here really trying to progress their juniors. You know, to make this an international or an ICF competition, we actually need paddlers in each class to be from a certain number of countries or continents to have it count as an international event. We really want to see the sport of freestyle developing around the world as a whole.
Yeah, that's right. And it was really cool at our last World Championships over in Argentina, because that's a part of the world where we haven't really seen that much freestyle happening before. And part of the kind of after effects of hosting a World Championships means that they now have a great feature there, and there's definitely a real scene happening, and it's so cool to see that happening in places where it was just not even possible before.
Young Sergei from Russia, unfortunately not scoring any points on that first ride, but that's all right, he does have another. But it's all part of that development, part of the progress on this, I think, just your journey as a paddler.
Yeah. So we're going back up to the top of the order with Turki from Finland.
Starting things off with a smooth spin there. Oh, before getting a little bit rejected on the corner of that feature, making the split-second decision of which eddy to go for, river right or river left. We got a couple messages coming through from Matt Cacaro, a former Canadian OC1 and C1 competitor just saying looks like a great feature, and he is correct. It is just a really fabulous feature to be part of. We wish you were here too, Matt. Oh, going for the McNasty. Did you see that? That was beautiful.
That was cool, and now he's going for the loop.
We will see what the judges have to say about that, but that's got to just feel good to put that trick down, feel the boat come over your head. Satisfying, going for maybe another McNasty, maybe a shove it. And that was a solid recovery after that unfortunate flush for Turki.
Yeah, that McNasty just seemed to come from nowhere. That was really cool to see.
You can see Finnish teammate Annie cheering in the stands there.
Here is the replay, whipping the boat over his head out of nowhere.
You know, Finland is not a country I would have thought to visit for kayaking, but again, the Finnish team has really kind of proved me wrong in that. They were showing there's some amazing rivers and waves that come in the springtime.
Yeah, they have huge volume rivers there with the really big waves. I definitely have got it on my radar.
Yeah, Turki with 106 points. He looks stoked. 118 combined. I believe, again, first world championship for this young junior paddler. It's always just, I think, a feeling of relief when you get your 2 rides done, isn't it? Just that, oh, this really happened.
Yeah, like we say, that flow state kind of makes you totally in the present moment, and you don't really kind of think about all the other stuff that's associated with it. So thinking about people watching it at home or what the score means or any of those things during your 45 seconds, those things are totally not in your head. You're just doing what you need to do.
We've got young Pan from Australia, 18 years old, only turned 18 years old last month. Maybe looking for a Felix, going for a spin. I think a lot of these Australian juniors have not actually been paddling for that long.
No, it's a pretty cool experience coming to a World Championships where you're actually pretty fresh to the sport. Everything, you'll be like wide-eyed, everything's a new experience. And it's so cool meeting all your heroes, all the people you've seen in the videos. And that's another great thing about our sport, I think, is that you come to these events and everyone's so approachable that you really are meeting your heroes and paddling with your heroes. And
doing a great job of staying on in the feature on that spin there, trying to set up again on the corner. Pan really paddling well here.
Oh, nearly getting the loop, but stays in the feature.
Oh. That, I think, is something that we're going to see a lot of. If you just don't quite get that plug exactly in the right spot, you can't have that just pop up and then just flush off. There it is, going for the loop, really doing a valiant effort to try and make the most of that plug regardless.
Impressive to stay in the feature with such a rejection from the feature. But he has a total combined score of 50 points.
Again, I hope he's excited with that, or happy with that, for his first World Championship experience here in Sort, Spain. At least these Australians
looks pretty satisfied there, actually.
Yeah,
he looks pretty happy.
At least the Australians are used to the heat, I have to say.
Yeah, that's true. There's definite advantage in that.
We've got Leon from Germany starting things off with the McNasty.
Straight in there with the McNasty. Looking for a big air loop. That was nice and aerial. See if that gets the huge bonus as well. Looking for the McNasty the other direction. Not quite getting it tumbling over, but staying in the feature. So I'm sure he'll try and get that one done again.
In that ideal world, you almost want the McNasty to finish exactly like your loop. Coming over the top, nice and straight. Oh, unfortunately not quite getting that one either.
Yeah, so if you've not quite figured out what a McNasty is yet, basically you push the boat into a back blast, so you're facing downstream, and then you drop your edge and pull the boat round so that it goes up into the air, and then throw the boat over just like the end of a front loop. So you should end by doing kind of the end part of a front loop, just like that.
Beautiful front loop on that instant replay from Leon there. You see the extension in the paddler's body as the boat comes and arcs over their head. I love just the spray of water off the front of the bow.
Yeah, it really shows how dynamic this sport is. It's got a lot of gymnastic elements to it.
Yeah, and you find a lot of paddlers that have done gymnastics somewhere in their past along the way that have turned to freestyle because it's maybe just a little bit more fun. Well, at least for us to watch.
One of the great things about freestyle is that you can throw tricks, but if it fails, you just land in water, and water's pretty forgiving.
Very true. It hurts a lot less than falling off the balance beam or the uneven bars.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, coming with a 223, significant increase on his first ride, 263.33 points. And you'll see a lot of these paddlers starting to find their rhythm in that second ride. But both rides do count. So this point system or the scoring system designed to reward consistency in these earlier rounds to have your best chance of getting the best athletes through in that semifinal.
So now we have local boy Paul dropping in from above, looking for that nice big entry move. His first ride was pretty impressive, so let's see if he can match or even better it. Huge McNasty there, flipping the boat over, doing a perfect demonstration of what we were explaining just before. Looking to set up for his next trick, looking for a loop or something, but there we see the great adaptation as he fell over.
Looking for that lunar orbit. I'm really impressed to see so many young paddlers throwing down these higher scoring, harder moves. Maybe going for that lunar orbit again, catching a turn in the corner there, but doing a really great job of retaining the feature, staying in control, keeping his composure. 10 seconds left, going for that opposite McNasty. Maybe landing it straight enough to have it score.
And we'll have to see. Looking for the big front loop. That was definitely straight. Now looking for a cartwheel. And one of the things that was...
I believe you see his friends and teammates here with his name written on their bodies.
That is awesome.
Yeah, just
Then it really pays to have a short name.
Yeah, otherwise you need a lot of friends. But no, really, I mean, amazing demonstration just of the support from the paddling community and the local community here. You know, all week, I mean, the river runs through the town here. It's really an incredible thing to be able just to walk to the coffee shop in your kit, in your gear, have a quick coffee, come back to the feature, and, you know, not really feel like you've missed that much, or being able to actually hear the live venue announcer while having your coffee.
Yeah, and a lot of the hotels that all the athletes are staying in are literally overlooking the feature, which is super cool. You know, you're sitting there eating your cereal, and you can keep an eye on whether the river levels come up yet.
Paul with a 323-point second ride, not quite as strong as his first, but 900 combined score. We'll see if that was going to be enough to keep him in the top 10. We're going to have Lowry heading down to the mix zone soon here just to be able to interview one of our athletes from this next round. I don't know who it's going to be, but we'll see what these athletes have to say about their time competing here in Sort, Spain. Again, we're coming into our last paddler of preliminary heat number 4 for the junior men in Sort, Spain. Sergei from Russia. I'm about to be joined here by Jez of Australia. Jez has been watching some of his younger teammates compete.
It's such an awesome atmosphere. These guys are the next generation, and these guys are really throwing it down hard. Seeing scores, combined scores of over 1,000 points by the Kellogg's. What is going on? Like, this is unheard of. This is great to see. I tell you, the future of freestyle is definitely safe by checking out what's happening right now. So we're seeing our next athlete, just 9 seconds, just got an unfortunate flush, pushed hard to try and get up in that eddy. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get anything on that second pass.
And, you know, it's a shame because I think you can see these young athletes occasionally scoring 0 points in their rides. This really doesn't demonstrate the hard work and skill that many of them have gained on their road to Worlds here. And that, in some ways, is, I think, an important thing to remember, that the competition itself is not representative of necessarily the paddler you are or the paddler you're seeing on the water. And many of these kids will probably come back later with those 900-point combined scores.
That's right. These guys have also been a part of the junior development camp. As the score comes in from Russia, unfortunately doesn't quite improve on their first run. It's a 0-0. That's hard. That's hard to get, but I'll tell you what, they're going to bounce back with that, I'm sure, and see us back at the World.
You know, it's all a building block and gained experience. So leading the top of this heat was Pol from Spain with a 900 combined points, Leon from Germany with 263. I believe it's Turki from Finland with 118. Pan from Australia with 50, and Sergei from Russia, unfortunately, scoring no points, but really demonstrating that the future, as you said, of freestyle is strong.
What a beautiful location for our 2019 ICF Canoe Freestyle World Championships. We're in the heart of the Pyrenees Mountains, surrounded, like quite literally, by massive mountains that are rising from this town on either side. Right now we're going to check in with Lowry down at the mix zone as she has an interview with someone on the side of the river. What's going on, Lowry? All right, unfortunately, we have a few technical difficulties down there, so we'll head back down to the side of the river in just a little bit. But that's fine because we are right now in the middle of Sort, Spain. The sun is really shining hard. We're actually in the middle of a bit of a heat wave here. It's really heating up both in temperature but also on the water. We can see Odie is his name referred to from Australia. This guy is actually a really good friend of mine who's going for some big moves, trying to sell those moves to the judges, getting some loops.
I actually got to work with Audie a little bit in New Zealand a few years ago, and I think it was his first week or year kayaking. Maybe he had just gotten his role, and just to see the progress that he's made in that short period of time, really cool to see the development coming out of that part of the world over there.
Yeah, you actually do spend quite a lot of time with the juniors, Anna. You're involved in quite a few, not just in New Zealand, but also in Canada and world class and the like. You get to see a lot of these junior athletes, which is very interesting. Hey, we're going to check back in right now with Larry Davis down in the mix zone.
I am here with Paul, who's just done really well in the preliminaries. How was it?
És increïble estar aquí al costat de casa i ha anat molt bé tot, les 2 rondes i supercontent.
And it was super awesome seeing your friends with your name written on them. Did you know they were going to do that?
M'ha agradat molt el detall que han tingut i m'ha motivat molt en les meves 2 entrades.
And how is it to compete somewhere you know already so well, somewhere that's so familiar?
És perfecte. M'encanta.
Yeah, it must be super cool being here with your friends, with your family, somewhere that's nice and homely for you.
Sí, és perfecte poder estar rodejat de la meva gent a l'hora de competir i ho disfruto molt més.
Well, congratulations on some really cool rides, and hopefully we'll see you again later this week. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Larry Davis meeting up with Paul down there. Paul had a great few runs to move through, hopefully to the next round. Remember, we are bringing you the action live at the moment from sunny Sort, Spain. This is the World Championships. My name is Jez. I'm joined right now with Anna Bruno, and we're trying our best to bring you the action as it comes at you thick and fast.
It is thick and fast. We have a lot of really talented junior paddlers out here on the water today, trying to make a really difficult cut to what's going to be just the top 10 competing in the next round. We've got 2 more heats to go, coming into our heat 5 soon.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a short little break as we actually sit down and watch some of the videos on the big screen Jumbotron back of 2001. This event came here in 2001, and it's great to see the event coming back to this river. This area is just known so well for whitewater, and we're going to bring you the action very soon. You're joined right now in the 2019 ICF Canoe Freestyle Championships. We are bringing you the action here at the junior prelims class.
Just
Welcome the world to fabulous Sort, Spain, in the heart of Sort, in the Pyrenees Mountains of Catalonia. I want to welcome the world to check out the men's kayak preliminary 5th heat going on right now. We're here at the World Championships. My name is Jez, and I'm actually bringing it also side by side right now with Bartosz. Bartosz, thanks for joining us here.
Hello, Jez. Thank you.
It's such an exciting place, such an awesome field. And look, we've already got our next heat ready to go.
Yeah, it's really amazing and exciting. I've been observing performance of junior till now. So we are currently in the half of the junior K1 men category, and the show is just amazing. The tricks thrown were really big. The scores are amazing, and I'm really excited to see what the second half are gonna present, because, well, I mean, the cut is really big. They're going from 37 paddlers till 10. It's really tough in there.
That's a big cut. You got to make that top cut, and if you don't make the cut, then you don't move through and advance through to the next round. The idea is to throw as many tricks on the board. They have 2 runs, of which they both count. And we're going to go across to Argentina and Valentin, who is a legacy. This is a legacy of what we've created through the World Championships, through a feature that was designed in Argentina, and this young paddler is a legacy of that feature.
Yes, indeed, and we can see it's really paying off as he dropped into a big Fisher King straight into Magnasti. Oh! Going really big, but now he went a little bit too much into the air, which was indeed amazing. However, he flushed, which cost him a lot of time. Now he's trying to make his way up back to the feature with 20 seconds on the buzzer. He's making back to the wave.
That's right. Now Valentin getting 20 seconds. It's a bit of a flush, and you don't score any points out of the feature. Big McNasty to the left, able to throw the bat. Oh, his nose just gets a little bit stuck in that pile there and pushed downstream. Valentin, 6 seconds remaining. That's okay. He'll have one more run, of which both runs count, and that will give you your results for potentially trying to move through to the next round.
So you can see a slow motion of a beautifully executed Magnastis he performed. This is the huge one he tried, but unfortunately landing slightly too much on the top of the foam pile and flushing out.
And that's the problem. Sometimes it's good to go big because you can access that big and huge points. But if you go too big, the chances are that you could potentially flush. And if you do go too big and flush, then obviously you're going to spend a lot of time working your way back up the eddy to get back in there and throw some more points. With his first run of 390 points, that's actually a pretty solid first run. Well done, Valentin.
Yeah, that's a good opening. I think it moves him already up in the ranks to 7th place possibly. So one more good run and he would be in top 10, because that's what we're looking for to make it to the next round. Next one up is Mason Hargrove, coming all the way from the United States of America. I remember Mason been paddling for around 4 years right now, and his dad got him into kayaking, and he really loves it. I've seen him performing out here, and he's paddling amazing, so I'm really looking forward to what he's got for us.
Yeah, this guy doesn't paddle without a smile on his face going in. Watch out for this run, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a great run, I'm sure. He tries to set up the Gnasty, doesn't quite get it, but now he goes for it. Plugs it around. Oh, goes for it big. See how he muscled that, willed it around. Now he goes the other direction. Bang, 2 McNasties off the board. That's over 160 points if he scores that in both directions. Total, as he's going around for a Phonics Monkey. This is a sweet run. Bartosz, wow, this is probably going to be one of the best runs that we've seen in the junior class.
Yes, indeed. Mason is really taking his time to execute a trick big in the aerial. That was amazing, huge air loop that definitely got him a huge bonus. And now he's looking for a lunar orbit. Not really maybe getting that around, but still 2 more seconds, one more try. And here he goes, getting a nice aerial lunar orbit just in time. He's happy, he's climbing. That's an amazing run. He could challenge some of the men with that run in the men's class.
I would have to say that is without a doubt going to be the run to beat. Look at how big that McNasty was. His whole boat, his head completely out of the water, and he stepped it up and backed it up with the McNasty in the other direction. You know what I also love to see? He went for his lunar orbit. He missed it. He knew he missed it. He paddled back in, kept his composure, and went through the same move directly again, because if you don't score that move, you don't get any points for it. You have to score it perfectly to get the points on the board. There's no point throwing it half or a little bit, maybe not as well as you really want to. Look at that big piece. He's so stoked. You have to throw it well for the actual points to be awarded to you. This is going to be huge, I'm sure, as he's sitting in the zone right there, right next to his coaches, his team. And he's having a chat to his coach there on the side. All the coaches can come down to the river and have a chat to their athletes, which is really exciting. Mason Hargrove. Now, usually if it takes a bit of time like this, it means that the judges are deliberating because there's probably a lot of points coming your way. So it's actually good. If you have a long delay, usually it's a good thing.
Yes, indeed. Mason took his time also. He didn't do many tricks, but he really waited for a perfect execution time to get those bonuses in. So it's like when we speak about a trick, there's kind of like a basic scoring, and then on the top of that, you can score aerial, which is a boat in the air at some point, or huge when the boat is extra aerial. So usually it's like 40-50 centimeters out of the water for the boat, but that's what the head judge is defining at the start of the competition. Then you can link the trick, so getting two tricks together, clean it, not using the blade at some point of the trick, or super clean, so not using the blade at all. And he definitely put some of those bonuses, and that's why it took so much time. That's
951 points in one run. With one run only, that will make him move through to the next round. That is crazy.
I think he's currently placing on the second place just with a single run.
That's crazy.
That's so
crazy. He's currently in
score.
second position with just one run. Mason Hargrove has really stepped it up. As we move across to our next athlete coming down, this is Roger from Spain. This guy, local Spanish athlete, you can hear in the background the home ground advantage. So loud here in this culture, in this area of the arena.
So for Roger, he first competed internationally here in World Cup Sword last year, and then he did really well, and he really got this magnesis. He spends all his free time just watching kayaking videos, and you can see the result. This visualization helps him to get those magnesis dialed in. He goes really nice in aerial with good execution. Now a loop and two magnesis on the board, 20 more seconds. He takes his time, he nails the small moves, he makes sure everything gets scored. He missed a black, but it doesn't matter for him. He's like, okay, I'll go for one more. I want to make sure that loop is big and aerial. Oh my God, going straight for Space Godzilla, slightly rushing that and flashing in the buzzer 4 more seconds. That's not gonna be enough to make it back, but that was a very solid ride, and I think he's gonna be happy with it.
I would totally be happy with that. Look at this McNasty as it comes around. He's trying to throw it now. See how that boat just landed slightly off to the left. This is the interesting part, is what the judges are looking for. If the boat just lands ever so slightly, I'm talking 20 degrees left or 20 degrees right, then you won't get that McNasty on the board. It won't count. You won't get anything for that move. So you're going to have to reset and go at it again. See, that one was facing nice and straight. And he wheeled it around and held his paddle up in the air to try and show that he stomped that trick. 426 points. Roger is stoked with that. Spain, Team Spain. There's a lot of horns sounding in the background. There's a lot of people cheering. Well done to Roger for his first run.
Yeah, that's very solid opening. That's what you really want. You get a very solid run, and then you know, all right, I got some points on the board. Now I can take some more risk. I'm already quite safe, but it's maybe not enough to make the semi. But, well, let's see for the next paddler, who is actually Asha. And he just drops in with a nice entry move. He's taking his time on the right shoulder, making sure he gets a perfect setup, trying for that loop. That looks pretty good. It's just on the top of the foam pipe. He manages to retain that. Looking for that cartwheel, slightly drop and then end it. It's going to be quite difficult, so we are just calling out. We're not judges, but this one was definitely amazing, huge Magnassi out there. So he was like actually just looking for the good setup, not trying for the cartwheel, but looking for another big Magnassi over there. 15 more seconds, and Asha goes for another Magnassi, maybe
just on the flush line. You know, we've talked about this before. You want to be in the right position. Not only do you want to throw the move, but you've got to throw it in the right position. There's a lot to this wave to learn. If you throw it in the wrong place, you're unfortunately going to flush. If you throw it in the wrong place, you're going to hit the bottom. But if you throw it in the sweet spot and you find that sweet spot, you're going to go big.
And it is exactly true. With this feature, it's very risky because you want to be quick and you want to throw the moves. But if you're slightly off, if you are not in a perfect spot, you're going to pay for that. And that's, you know, what you have to pay for their balance here. Because you want to score as much as you want, but on the other hand, you have to go slow and like really pace yourself. So it's actually challenging spot, but I think it's really good for the World Championships because it really shows not only the technicality but the tacticality and all this mind game that you need to have to maintain a good control in the feature and really plan your run very well.
That's right. There is a lot about planning tactics here in this competition. The idea is to move it through the top 10. You can see the fellow athletes and also the crowd cheering on their fellow competitors. And looking like 240 points for Asher from Birmingham, 16 years of age. He's also part Irish and Nepalese and very close with his family. He says in his bio, has an older brother or a young sister as well. We move across to Team France. And as we can see, Luis about to throw down with an entry move to start off his routine.
And here he goes with a nice Fisher King, 40 more seconds on the clock while he sets up. Slightly catching an edge, but managing to retain. He's still in the feature, showing a good control. It's really important. Oh my God, now he flashes just on the shoulder. That shoulder is so tricky, but luckily he managed to not flash too far, which is also very difficult. 24 more seconds as he drops back. He goes for a big aerial loop, nicely executed, but he has to accelerate things out now. He goes for a Space Godzilla, landing it just on the top of the phone pile. 15 more seconds as he sets up, looking for another Space Godzilla, actually doing that once more again. So he's like, well, maybe my first one wasn't good enough. I'm gonna try it again, make sure the points go for me. 4 more seconds, one more big move. Here he blocks, looking for a space to the other hand side. Unfortunately, probably missing that, and that's the time for him.
It looked like that last space he was going for. I reckon he probably tagged the bottom and hit the rock there, which means you're really not going to get the pop you want. It is a natural river, so there are rocks, and rocks do hurt, especially when they hit the front and the bow of your boat. You can see him now. The Space Godzilla is a move that we're not seeing too often being thrown here, because it is quite a challenging move to do in this feature, isn't it, Bartosz?
Yes, it did. I mean, it's quite funny because Loop and Space Godzilla used to be like kind of like, you know, the basic tricks you would see all around the competition, and now because it's way more shallow, it's actually really hard to perform them. For Loop, maybe it's still all right, but for Space Godzilla, when you spend slightly more time, you want to go into the water when you initiate. You want to go a little bit deeper, but here a little bit deeper means you might hit the bottom, and he goes with 150 points for his first round.
Great run from Luis, or as I would pronounce it in my really worst French accent, Luis, doing a great job getting 150 points on the board. As we can finish off that heat and go straight to the top one more time, and we're going to see Valentin from Argentina. Now, we had the World Championships in Argentina 2 years ago, and it was a fantastic competition. They created such an amazing feature down there, and we had, this is exactly why we do this kind of stuff. We've created a legacy for someone like Valentin to train on and get really good at his freestyle features.
And that's amazing how it pays off, because you actually, oh my God, such a big Magnassi. Well, we're gonna get back on that, as you really want to stay focused on that ride, as he goes really big and aerial, going for another Magnassi the other way. I think he got a medal here last year, so he really likes sword for sure. He's managing to retain that, just staying on the top of the football, going big into the air. That's a really solid looking run. His first run was good, but this one looking way better already with 15 more seconds. He's definitely going to look for some more moves. He actually wants to repeat one more Magnassi, making sure that bonuses come in. But now he goes for a lunar beat, perfectly executed, finishing off with the back loop. 4 more seconds, goes for Eskimo roll and trying to get one more Magnassi, looking for the air bonus. He's climbing it, He gets a couple more moves in there, and he's quite happy with that.
He is pumped, he is excited. Valentin has just thrown down such a sweet run. Look at the air. His whole boat got up and out of the pile. That's where he's going to be accessing those big and possibly huge air bonuses. I would definitely say he's probably accessing the huge bonus out of that. His whole boat getting completely vertical and aerial. Now the lunar orbit is actually, I can vouch for, it's really hard to do here. Now these lighter boaters though are able to stay nice and high on the foam pile, which actually does assist a lot of these moves. So the lighter boaters are able to throw certain moves a lot better, whereas the muscular guys are able to power through and do different kind of moves and just plow through the water. Valentin, nice light boater, stays on top, throws some super big aerial moves.
He's just sitting there waiting for his score. He's quite happy, but a little bit of stress. You never know. You feel like your ride was good, but until you see the result, you cannot really tell. Of course, we are just calling out the tricks. We are not the judges here. We have an amazing team of judges. We have head judge overlooking 3 variety judges who are making sure that everybody gets judged equally and evenly. And oh my God, massive score! 686 points for his second ride, giving a total of 1,076 points for Valentin. That's gonna move him up the ranks, probably taking a second place currently, so securing his place in semifinals. very likely.
Yeah, absolutely. The battle is already going on between the top 3 athletes. We've seen Daley Kellogg, we've seen Pole already, and then we've seen Valentin. But there is so much more coming your way as we say hello and welcome to the stage, Mason Hargrove, who already with his 1 run only has secured himself into the next round. But he's not done with that. He's like, you know what, I want to go through first position. The reason for that is it's actually in reverse seeded order, which means the best athlete gets to see all the other athletes' runs and see what he has to do to be able to make the next round. So everyone wants to try and become that top spot. As well, if anything happens to the river, you know, if we have no water tomorrow, then obviously the standings that we have potentially would count. And if you're on top in the prelims, if we don't have any water tomorrow for any other reason, because it's a natural river, things happen. So if that happens, you know, we can actually still claim a world champion.
That's true. And also, I mean, you know, it's part of the tactics. Some paddlers are going to paddle like slightly, you know, lower on scores, and they're like, all right, I still get room to improve, but I want to secure my spot. And some will be like, no, I'm here and I'm going to show others that's my spot and that's my power, and you have to be ready to face me. And I think that's the Mason's tactics, because I mean, like, he did amazing, and now he goes for a Fisher King. 45 seconds, and here he kicks off. Big Magnastio man trying to claim that clean with his paddle back in the air. Looking straight for another Magnastio, not wasting any time, dragging it out a little bit too late. I like how he stayed really vertical, and like, okay, now I'm going to jump, but that was too
late, yeah. He was trying to get too much air. That's the tactics we always talk about. It's all about trying to get as much air as possible without flushing. He just went a little bit too long. Now he's going for the phonics. Oh, doesn't quite get the phonics monkey. His edge just dropped. It's a little bit not of his best run, that's for sure, but he's still staying in the game. S with a beautiful big loop, claiming it with his paddle on the back of his boat. Now he's going for that phonics. He wants that phonics bad, doesn't quite get it. But you know what? I can tell you this, he's got enough to move through. Is it going to be enough for him to secure that first place position? Time will tell.
That's true indeed. I really like 5 seconds before the buzzer. He was just like, he heard the buzzer a while ago, and then he certainly look at the clock. Look at there.
Oh,
amazing. Like, he was like,
so
okay, five more seconds, and okay, now it's time to take the risk.
Now look at his pinkies. Look how he's like, he's holding his little fingers up.
That's a Steve's bonus.
They do that to try and show it to the judges that they're not using the paddle blade, so they're not putting any pressure on the paddle blade, showing that they're doing it clean. So a lot of paddlers will actually use that as a tactic to hold their fingers up. I always say holding your pinkies up, and if they're holding their up, then it's kind of like a tactic to show, hey guys, I'm not using my paddle blade. You can see it, I'm using that clean bonus. And then if you get that clean bonus, it's an extra over 20 points plus, I guess.
Well, it depends on the trick.
That's
but here we got a final score, 361 for his second ride. Not as good, not even close as good as the first one, but still securing a second spot with 1,313 points in total. So he's definitely going to move up the ranks to the second place and be happy there. Probably we're going to see him.
We're going to see much more of him. It's going to be Daley Kellogg versus Mason Hargrove. And that's going to be interesting to see how this plays out later on the week. We have the finals coming at you throughout the week. Every day, pretty much from Wednesday on, we have a different finals, from open boating to C1 to junior to men's. It's going to come at you thick and fast as we go over to Roger, who is about to throw down here in the featurette sword.
Oh my God, he's looking for a Fisher King. Good opening. Roger scored 390 points in first round, so he's really stuck about that. He's from Girona, and this is where he started with the Salt Pack Club, looking for a big Magnasti. He loves flying. He really loves being in the air. He looks for good executions, looking for a Magnasti to the other hand side. Really solid ride. I like his consistency. Oh my God, he didn't get it like straight enough. He was like, well, that's my trick. I want it in, so I'll do that again. And 15 more seconds as he goes for a loop. Not very big, but definitely points will be there. Making sure he stays. That's more important for him. Looking for big Where's Godzilla? Just on the top of the foam fight, managing to maintain that. That's going to be really nice.
I honestly thought he was going to slip out for that space, but he was able to power so hard up there to get back in the feature. And you need to do that to claim those points. If you do it flush, it's not going to count. And that's exactly what he did. He knew he was right on the back of the wave, and he had to paddle with so much grit and determination to get back into that feature.
Yes, there also is this slightly point somewhere about middle right, which is a little bit more retentive. And this is where you really want to be after you land your trick. You might be a little bit behind, and it seems like you're going to flush, but you really want to paddle really hard there because it's likely to make the trick and make it back to the feature. Because that's what you need, as you said, to score your trick. If you flash, doesn't matter how high you went, it won't score.
So just to give the viewers out there who probably may have not have seen freestyle before, if you get that move correct, you get the points on the board, but if you miss it, the judges don't think you've actually done it correctly, you're not going to get any points. You can't do the same move more than once, so you have to mix it up. It's all about variety as well as performing execution on your routine. And the idea is the more different tricks that you can throw, the bigger the tricks, obviously the more points will be awarded your way. Each move has a certain value. So if you get, for example, let's say a loop, it's about 60 points, I believe.
Yeah, but then you can get an extra 30 points for the air.
Exactly.
Then you can get extra 40 points for going huge. But on top
or
of
clean.
Or clean.
Yeah.
That's extra 20 points. Oh my God, the amazing ride from Roger. 483 points, getting 910 points. I believe it's moving him up the rank to the 4th place, just ahead of his countrymate Paul, who had 900 points. So that would mean top 5 for Roger. It might be just enough for semis, but the time will tell. We still have a lot of amazing paddlers, so it's just starting.
That's right. We have next up Asher hailing out of Birmingham, Great Britain. Looking at his bio, he likes lots of different genres of music, passionate about music, as he drops in for a nice entry move to start off his routine. Now he sets himself up to the foam pile, getting ready. Plugs the loop, goes around Space Godzilla to the right. Oh, his nose gets instantly caught.
Oh my God, he
and
almost
got 2 loops, like a space into a loop combo, which is a very hard thing to do. He automatically just threw him over and he went with it.
That's a very popular thing recently in the freestyle. You would see a lot of space loops, but in that feature it's so difficult to retain that, and I haven't seen many of those. But he goes back and goes for the Magnasty, so looking good, making sure now he needs to really accelerate and get that point in, because, well, he flashed, and if he wants to make it to the next round, that's the last 5 seconds to throw something big. He tries to get that Magnasty, and he pulls it off.
Oh!
The buzzer, unfortunately, flushed.
Yeah, that's right, on the buzzer, and gets a flush, so probably won't get the value for those points, unfortunately, but still a great routine. Look at this one. This is the Space Godzilla. His nose straight away gets caught, and he goes for it again into a loop. So space to loop combo, combination trick. So what's the difference between a combination and something like a trophy move, Bartosz?
So a combination, so linking the tricks together would be doing a trick after trick fluently. So it would be following a trick. If you finish it and then fluently go to another, but ends connect between them. But if you break the end in between, so in example, you're going for a cartwheel, but before finishing the rotation, you're going to jump for a loop, that would be potentially a new trick, right? So it's a little bit different. So trophy would be breaking any original trick and adding something else to it. So a new rotation, so something that's not described by the rules at the point. And linking, simplest example would be a spin to a shove it. So a spin, so 360 horizontal rotation into a shove it, 180 rotation there and back. And we're just waiting for a score of Asha, as he's just chilling there, being quite happy, smiling. That was a good run. He flashed, but he was quite happy. You know, he managed to get back, get some Magnastis in, and he's cheering to the crowd, climbing, like, that was my time. He's stoked to be there. It's an amazing place. The feature is great, the weather is great, the crowd is big. So definitely it looks really, really amazing. The judges are still discussing. He had some tricks, had some around that, possibly on that space loop combo. And his second score is coming in with 220 points, 416 total. He's quite happy with that, yeah. He's smiling. Well, I'm not sure if that's gonna be enough to make it to semifinals, but it might be just on the borderline. Well, it means we're moving up to the next person. That's gonna be Louis Lacroix from France. That's his second run. In his first run, he scored 150 points, but he kicks off with a nice Fisher King on the start, hopping on the shoulder, going into the air, but not really getting the loop around in the middle. He hit the bottom and he flashed really far. Just after hitting the bottom, look how far he went. He really has to paddle really hard. So my dear friend Kim said that his coach Jacko at some point said, well, if you're not the best in the feature, you have to be quickest in the eddy. And that's what Luis goes here with the big loop into a space. So he really milks those points right now. 10 more seconds. He's looking to throw a Magnus to the other side. Setting up. Rolling out, unfortunately. 2 more seconds. Last chance. He's throwing a cartwheel last second. Well, we'll see what judges say. But that was his time in the feature. Thank you, Luis. Definitely a nice run from him. I love how he flashed far, but he didn't give up. He was like, okay, now I have to get everything together and do my best to come back as quickly as possible. Look at his loop. That's going nice and aerial, but that's just after hitting the bottom, and he flashed. And that's another one where he goes big and aerial. Look, he just put slightly his bow in and then went straight into the air. So there is no time to actually go very deep and up. That's what he tried in the first one, but you actually have to just tuck your bow slightly, maybe double palm it in, and then go straight into the roll and kicking the rotation in. So he scores 120 in his second round, giving a total point of 270 points. That was a good performance from this. We're looking at top 5. Now we're looking at the scores from that hit, so definitely Madison Hardrow, 13-13. Leading Valentin Betancourt from Argentina, 1,076. So those were 2 best scores, definitely. So we are moving to the mixed zone right now. Let's see what Jess got for us.
All right, hey, how are we doing out there? I'm joined right now on the side of the river with Valentin, who just had a huge run. You were so animated and so excited out there, so pumped. Fist pumps everywhere. How exciting is it to be here and throw down a run like that?
Hi, Jess. The first ride I was very excited, but was not the best. And the second ride was well, not excellent, but was well. Man, we have to wait the semifinals, and I hope to have good rides and can be in the finals.
Now, briefly, we've just come from the World Championships in Argentina, and now you're here in Sort, Spain, having it at your home ground and now coming to Sort. How exciting is this for Team Argentina?
Oh, I am very excited to be Team Argentina again. Now, this is my second time in Sort. The last year in the World Cup, I finished in the second position. And this year I hope to repeat it.
Well, you're one of the most animated paddlers out there. We're so stoked to see your passion come through. Thank you for joining us, and good luck for the rest of the competition, Valentin.
And we are moving to hit number 6, and we're looking at Axel Kara coming from Belgium. We're going to also see Christian Cleonakis from Australia, Alexei Mtshachev representing Ireland, Jack Newland from Australia, and Ian Betancourt from Argentina. So the brother of paddler who just competed, and we are already looking at Axel in the feature paddling. He started off from the bottom. He's setting up. He's on the top of the feature, plugging and going for a loop. Nicely executed loop out there, setting up on the side surf, taking his time. He really wants to make sure that he's in a good spot out there, showing a good control, looking for the McNasty. So really taking his time, not rushing anything. That's really important, trying for that split wheel into a cartwheel. Now, unfortunately, catching an edge and dropping down. He's back on the back surf. 10 more seconds, goes around and looking for a McNasty, manages to sticker it, not just flashing on the last second. Well, that was a really good try and good ride from Axel. He has one more, so if you guys just tuned in, we are looking at the preliminaries of K1 men juniors hit number 6. That was Axel Kerr from Belgium. He definitely got a nice loop, and we're gonna see what his final score going to be. Next one up is going to be Christian Cleonkanis from Australia. Came all the way around He's waiting for the entry, but good result, 90 points for Axel. He definitely has one more. So good performance, good to get some points on the board. And, well, we'll see what he has prepared for his second ride. But right now, everybody's looking at Christian Locanis from Australia as he drops from the top. He goes in looking for a nice Fisher King, nice execution, secure, staying in, looking straight into McNasty, slightly off the angle, might not scare. Let's see whether he's going to repeat it or go for another move. No, he goes straight for a narrow bit, nicely getting in around actually. So a good save on that 30 more seconds for paddler from Australia. And he's setting up on the right shoulder, taking his time. He's looking for McNasty again, now getting the ball nice and aerial. And 15 more seconds as he set up. Now the left shoulder, possibly looking for McNasty the other direction. He already good, possibly 2 big tricks. 10 more seconds buzzer. That's time to throw your trick, my friend.
That's right, now he's setting up, trying to get the loop. Oh! That was big! Oh my gosh! Little Christian from Australia down at Penrith, out at Cranebrook. This guy, he knows how to throw big tricks. And he waited to the very last moment, didn't he? It was like he was trying a few McNasties that weren't working. Then he threw another one. It kind of worked. And then at the end, he was like, bam! I'm going to throw it big. And that's exactly what he did. I'm talking big and huge bonuses there for sure. Look at the pop. Look at the pop he gets. Look at that! His whole head, his whole boat did not touch the water.
That was so...
Okay, I'm going to call it right now. That is the biggest loop currently of this competition.
That
for sure.
Definitely a lot of error. And I love how he kept like surfing around for 15 seconds.
Yes.
We're for like, oh, maybe McNasty or something. And she's out of nowhere. He just blocked and bam, he rockets into the air. And a nice score of 240 points. He's stuck, he's sending kisses, he's happy. And I was like, yep, that was good.
That was good. But he got plenty more in the tank. He really wants to score both McNasties in both directions. He's definitely has the ability to do that. I've worked with him quite a bit down at Penrith, and we'll see him again here in a second. Before we move on to our next athlete from Team Island.
That's Alexei Hachev. He's actually a Russian and Irish, a big friendly giant. That's pretty much it. That's all what he says about him. And if you go around here, he's really a giant, but he's such a friendly person. And he's actually a really good paddler. Unfortunately, catching an edge there. Oh, he's getting cheered by Irish team so hard as he's paddling back up the feature. 30 more seconds, and he's really strong, making this big boat come back quickly to the feature. And 25 more seconds on the clock as he's back in, taking a brief now, making sure. Oh no, he went to the shoulder and it flashed him again. 15 more seconds. Come on, Alex.
Oh, we want to see him get back up there. He started kayaking 7 years ago at a small club opened in his small town. And from there, he learned the basics, pushed forward, and now he's here representing his country in Spain. Just 17 last month. Now he's trying for that McNasty. Doesn't quite get that McNasty he wants. And actually, in his bio, he actually says, I'm a big, friendly giant. That's pretty much it.
How fun is that? Like, he's one of the most funny people around. And, well, it's actually really fun to follow him on the Instagram, too, because he just posts really cool stories with his great Irish attitude. It's definitely fun. We'll see what his score is going to be because, well, he flashed twice, but he tried some good tricks, too.
Absolutely. You know what? Everyone knows the Irish team. They are very loud. They are very passionate. And they spend a lot of time out and about. Unfortunately, didn't quite get the run that he wanted. And you can see his team coach there. And is that Tom?
Yeah, I think that's Tom Dunphy. He really looks well in that helmet, I have to say. You should consider competing in that. But I love, Tom's been around for ages.
Let me just talk just briefly about this next athlete, Jack Newland, who actually does not paddle whitewater. He trains on flat water in the pools of his hometown in Geelong, Australia, as he's throwing in. But let's see what you can do and how flat water correlates to whitewater. Check this guy out.
And bam, he's trying for that McNasty. Not really getting the ball around. He's slightly rushing it. He was like, I want to get those tricks in. Now getting the ball nice and vertical, possibly a split wheel into a cartwheel. 25 more seconds as he set up for a McNasty going nice and big in the air. That was really good. I love his Australian flag in the front and the American flag in the back. And big McNasty to our hand side. He's going to be really stoked about this one. He's 10 more seconds on the buzzer. We just heard the clock. As he set up to the left shoulder, possibly looking for a loop now, plugging and going nice in his nice carbon boat. 3 more seconds. That's one more trick for him. He plugs last second. Big
Space. Does he get retained? Not quite. You know what? He's got plenty more in the tank. He didn't quite get his splits to splits, which he normally does. He didn't quite get his cartwheels. Without a doubt, we're going to see a whole lot more of him. But we still saw some pretty big, one really big McNasty. He wasn't quite where he wanted to be with his first couple of McNasties, but then he stayed with it. He stayed with it and was able to plug that nice big McNasty and then come back and finish it up with a nice strong loop as well. So he's going to have to look for a bit more, I think, in his second run to try and make it through to the top 10. But let's see the score come through here. Jack, 530 points, still a solid first run. If he doubles that, he will definitely move through. So let's see how his second... If he's got more in the tank, which I know he does, if he gets more than that 500 points, then he'll definitely make it, no worries.
That's true. That was a great run, and if he can put something on top of that, he shouldn't be really worried. But, you know, that's also part of the game. I've seen Jack paddling really, really well in trainings, but stress time is good time, that's what we say, and everything can change. Now we are looking at the younger brother of Valentin, and he's coming from Argentina, and he's in the feature side surfing right now, looking for a McNasty, not really getting the boat around. Still taking his time. That's really important to stay in the feature for all of the ride, because that gives you a lot of extra time looking for that loop, plugging and getting that in. That's a good effort from him. He's really wanting to get that boat around for the McNasty. Unfortunately, landing it just on the shoulder, edge drop, and he was out. 15 more seconds, he paddling really quickly up the eddy. Getting nice cheer from Team Argentina and everybody around. That's a great thing, you know, everybody's cheering for everybody. The atmosphere here is amazing. The competition has just started. People are just going far up, and he goes nice to the air, looking for possibly a space, and that's time for him.
He says in his bio, 15 years of age. He's placed 3rd in Argentina team trials. Sponsors his Bancroft rafting. But I tell you what, I've said this before, but Argentina, we had the World Championships there 2 years ago, and the legacy that's come out of Argentina as a result of that World Championships is such inspiring work. And the work that the guys, Mauricio down in Argentina, shout out to Mauricio, who is out there for sure having a good time. He was a huge instrumental factor for the World Championships. We appreciate all of his work. Ian here now coming down and being part of the legacy that's happened there. 70 points for his first run. Look to improve on that. And we'll see how we go for his next run.
I mean, he's just 15 and those are his first
15,
World Champs.
yeah.
So, I mean, you know, just being here is a great experience. And scoring a loop, possibly and a spin extra on top of that, that's a good result, you know? I mean, I wish I scored that in my first World Champs.
I think I got an entry flush combo, my first World Champs. That's I don't know if you get any points for that.
Well, we are going back to the top of the order, looking at the Axel car from Belgium. He's dropping in from the eddy.
Come on. Now he's looking to mix it up, trying to get those cartwheels of the board, staying on top of the foam pile. Now moving it around, plugging the nose around, just tag the rock as he's going for that very vertical end of cartwheels. Cartwheels is basically the end of the tail going over and over the boat. Now he tries to sell those cartwheels, but he's just going a little bit too over vertical as he's going for those cartwheels. But he's still setting up the top foam. He's spending a lot of time in the foam, which is exactly what you need. You don't want to be doing, it goes for the loop. You don't want to be flushing. Just as I say that, he just gets a little bit flush as he's going for that awesome loop of his, and just gets a little bit flush downstream. As he's paddling hard, just won't, unfortunately, get back to it, and that'll do it for his second run.
I'm afraid we are sometimes calling it out. We are just saying, like, oh my God, we're doing really well, sitting in that feature, and then they try for a trick and they flush, and it makes me feel really, really bad. But it's not us, it's the feature, which is just demanding, you know, and it's shallow, and it's the foam pile is actually really, really short. It looks like there's a lot of wide water, but it's fair, it's high and short. So you have to execute your move really, really nicely. And well, it's nice to see who's best over here, because his score is coming in. The second round, 10 points, giving him a total of 100 points. Well,
still a great competition, and we're stoked for him to be a part of what we're doing down here and being on the world stage for sure as we whip across to the top, Eddie. And check out my mate Christian. Hey, Christian. All right, brother, I want to see you throw down. This guy spent a lot of time with him down in Sydney, Australia. He can go big when he needs to, and that's exactly what he needs to do right now. He goes for a nice entry move to start off with. Looking around, trying to get that McNasty. Really has got to force that around, and that's where he does it. Yes, whips it out. So that's one McNasty on the board. Now let's see what he sizes up, probably going the other direction. Yes, he does, and stays on top. Yes. So he's got, now he goes for the Lunar. Oh, that's a tough move. He hasn't really done too many of those in competition. So if he does get it, it's a super awesome move for sure. 17 seconds remaining. Get back upstream. Come on. He looks like he's got his head down. He's digging. He's digging hard. 10 seconds remaining. I reckon he can get in and throw one big massive loop. I want to see that massive loop. Come on, Christian. 4 seconds. Does he initiate just before the buzzer? He goes for the Lunar. Doesn't quite get that Lunar, unfortunately. And that'll do it there. Christian, great result. And you know what? We've seen the biggest loop out of any competitor so far. With his loop that he threw, it was huge.
That's true. That was really nice and aerial. But I wanted to come back to his Lunar. You know, sometimes you're like, you feel the trick is going to work for you.
Yeah.
It might not be your strongest, but you just feel, that's what I have to try.
Yeah.
That's what I have to try.
Yeah.
And you just said he didn't score many of them in the competitions, but both Lunars he tried were actually really amazing and just so close of sticking them. Actually, after the first one, he almost initiated the cartwheel, so he might score something on that. So if you finish a trick, but you initiate another one, and judges see that you flash actually on doing another one, you still might get some points. So there's a lot of tactics on that. And here he goes, 270 points. I think that's a pretty good result for him.
That's a great result, 510 points. He looks like he's got, it's going to be close. It's going to be very close for him to move through. It's very hard for sure for all these athletes. They want to make that top 10 to make it through to the next round. But he has done a great job here in this competition. We appreciate him coming all the way halfway around the world as we go to our next athlete.
And that's Alexei Mzachev. He didn't score many points in the first one, but now he wants to come back and show his best. He goes straight for a loop, unfortunately, a little bit in middle. And I mean, like, he's quite big guy, and then his boot is really long. So it's even more difficult for him to block. But when he gets dry, he actually can fly really impressively high. So I really want to see him throw down. As 20 more seconds, he throws a spin
into his face. Yeah, that was close. He was really willing for that McNasty. He wanted that McNasty, didn't he, Bartosz?
Yeah, he really wanted to get it. Oh, look at him. He's now tired. That's the third or fourth flash into right. That's really exhausting, but he's fighting to go back 5 more seconds. He's just, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? Dropping into feature as the buzzer rings. And he climbs in. It's all about being here.
Yeah.
That's why everybody loves Team Ireland. That's the spirit we want to see, you know? I mean, being here, making a team, representing your country here, it's just such a big honor for all of the athletes. It might be, you know, it might be hard to score the tricks because the feature is a world class, but it's difficult, you know? So definitely a big shout out to Alexei for making the team, showing up and showing his good performance here in Sort, Spain.
Now we're going to see just upstream about to throw down Jack Newland. As I said, this athlete doesn't actually train on whitewater. Oh, as the score comes in, unfortunately, doesn't quite get the run he wants, but we're going to, big smile. He's like, that's all right. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying my moment. That was an awesome moment for sure. So we're going to head across the pond and check out with Jack Newland, and he's going to see if he can improve on his 500 odd points and see if he can make his way through to the top 10. The only athlete that trains only specifically on whitewater.
That's really interesting. That's actually where I used to train as well back in the days because we didn't have any whitewater. And I mean, it gives you some solid foundation, as you can see, because Jack is really killing it. That was a perfectly executed McNasty. After that entry, that's a great opening McNasty the other way around. That's what you want to see. Jess is getting really excited for his teammate here. And into a cartwheel, a series of ends flurry of events, you could say, one after another, getting those points in 20 more seconds, looking really solid. Really high on the shoulder. Is he? Oh no, that shoulder is so tricky. If you go a little bit too far, you're gonna flush out, but it's 12 more seconds and he's paddling really quick. That's his time. He needs one more trick to secure his position possibly. He drops in 3, 2, 1, plucks in just on the buzzer, goes into there, hits the bottom and flashes. Oh my God, that's gonna be really tight. Well, Magnasti's were great, entry was good, so he's still gonna score some good points on that. But let's see what judges have to say. Oh, we're looking at Magnasti, nice and aerial. We could see all AUS on the bottom of his boat. Into a cartwheel. Definitely a good run. It might be just enough on the semis. We still don't know what's the cut gonna be. We still have one more hit ahead of us. A lot of good paddlers waiting to drop in, so 5 more paddlers. It will be really exciting. Nice air on this one, unfortunately finishing behind the feature. He's chilling, he's chatting to his coaches. He's happy. That's most important. And those were good runs. And 426 points, 955.6 in total. That moves him definitely up the ranks. I would say around top 5 right now. So it's pretty good result. He can be stuck for that. I think we're definitely going to see him in the next round in that case. All right, we have a time up for a next paddler, and that's a hit number 7. That John Pearson from, that's Jan Betancourt from Argentina. That's his second ride, and oh, he gets for Magnasti and he sticks it. That's so nice for him. And big space Godzilla to the right hand side. Unfortunately, flashing on that one, but he's paddling really hard to make it back to the feature. 20 more seconds as he's paddling hard. That was a good opening with the Magnasti. Unfortunately, flashing with a big space Godzilla. So we'll see what he is going to throw in the last seconds of his ride.
Now he sets up, trying to get onto the side of his boat, setting up, looking for it. Oh, doesn't quite get the over vertical cartwheel there. Just gets a little bit caught on the tail there, possibly going for a back loop. Just gets a little bit of a face surf. That happens to the best of us, I tell you, the amount of face surfs I've had in my career.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like, you can be really good and you're still gonna, well, face surf or do something like other interesting, let's say, moves out there. It's plenty of that. You know, what you guys see, you see the success. You see us performing, the athletes performing at the World Champs. But there are hours, days and weeks of trainings, of sweat and blood that you go for it. And that's the result. That's this big Space Godzilla.
That is massive, Bartosz. That is huge.
I really want to see a picture from that. He would be really stoked to have it.
Oh, great Space Godzilla. That was massive. He'll be stoked with that. 70 points. Ian's going to be happy with that. Didn't quite get the points on the board that he got for his second run. He'll retain his 70 points from his first run. But he's still got a lot of motivation from that as we look at the top athletes. Jack Newland, 900 odd points. Christian, 500 plus points. Now we've got Team Belgium, Argentina and Ireland, 170. And we'll look to improve next time. But that's totally fine. We're stoked for everyone to be a part of this event. And it's always tough. It's always tough. Especially when you hear your name called out and you come down here and everyone's watching, you know, it's your time to shine, and it's really, really challenging. All right, we are here coming to you live from the ICF Canoe Freestyle World Championships. We have the best athletes in the world descending on Sort, Spain, in the heart of the Pyrenees Mountains. My name is Jez, and I'm joined right now with Bartosz from Poland. We have the next preliminaries coming up your way, preliminary 7. And we have a very good, diverse range of athletes coming your way. John Pearson from Sweden, Riley Frank Harris from US of A, Thibault from Team France, Nani's from Japan, and Tissiku from Finland. So it's quite a diverse range of athletes that we have here.
I'm really excited to see what I got prepared, because I do recognize some of those surnames, and those boys been paddling really, really well. So I have to say they can shuffle the order, which we thought is slowly settling down. So that is the last hit. So that's actually the last guys who can say something who's gonna make it to the next round. I believe the cut will be around 400 or 500 points. So well, that's what the guys are gonna be aiming for. And John Pearson comes from Sweden, and he's actually studying tourism to become an adventure guide. He does everything from kayaking, skiing to running, climbing. So he just loves being out there. And well, that's the spirit that's shared among the freestyle quite a lot, because that's all we do. It's not about kayaking only, but about the time you hanging out with people here in Surf for a month. Everybody, you know, going out to hikes, to do some biking, climbing, and so it's amazing for that. But today we are just about kayaking as the world champs preliminaries last round. John Pearson, Sweden, dropping in.
Yeah, that's right, Bartosz. Here he comes, dropping in into the sort feature with a nice entry move, trying to get his head dry to sell it to the judges that he'll at least get a number 2 entry move. The higher they get, the more points they get. Now he's plugging the loop. I think he might have tagged the rock as he was plugging that loop. It is right there, and if you just miss your spot, unfortunately, you just tag it. It runs a shutter through your spine when you do hit it. He's backed himself right back up. Yes! Able to throw it straight away. Getting that loop on the board, top of the feature setting up now. Looks to go for a McNasty. Doesn't drop the edge like he wanted it, but still will at least get a spin for his efforts. Now comes to the top, setting himself for here's the McNasty. There it is. That's what he wanted. It looks so smooth. Looks like he was struggling there for a while to drop that edge, but then when he did, it looked like he'd been doing it for years. It was a beautiful McNasty.
Indeed, that was a really good performance from John. And actually, interesting fact, he plays here in sort 5th at the World Cup. So that's a really good result. And he really was preparing for that World Championships. But a year ago, the feature was completely different. But as we can see, he adapted very well with his nice tricks. So he scores 333 points for his first ride. It's not bad, it's quite good. And he still has one more ride to go. So we're going to see what he is got prepared for that.
Yeah, well, plenty more up your way as we go across to Team USA. We'll check in with Riley as you can see Riley Harris dropping in now from above. This is going to be one to watch. Get ready. Straight in with a nice big entry combo. Whoa, that's the first one we've seen in competition.
That was amazing. That was a fisher king into McNasty and into another McNasty over here. Well, that's a great way to open your ride. It's like 400 or 500 points in total maybe already for this free tricks. So that was really quick, and he goes big into the air for that space. 25 more seconds. I like the execution. He's been paddling train so well, and he actually performed so good as well here, looking for that spin. But that's probably just the way he setups, you know, like he's not even looking like, well, spin part of my run. He's just like, well, I'll just set up and maybe try and move in between that. He takes his time to get into the perfect setup, and look for a huge arrow that pink is up in the air. Oh, he's missing the block. 2 more seconds, and he initiated just before the buzzer, a cartwheel.
Yeah, he did. So because he initiated just before the buzzer, as Bartosz said, that means if he does get it, it will count as he goes into an exit move as well, showing off for the crowd. Big smile on his face. That's the first entry McNasty combo we've seen in competition. There it is. Entry to McNasty. I can tell you this from my experience, it's extremely hard. He made it look easy. It's bloody hard, mate. And look at how big. Now that loop, notice how he finished the loop slightly to the right or the space, and I don't think it would have counted, but he came back, backed it up, and threw it again. And look at his hands. His hands.
You can see like 8 fingers. Well, my fingers are up here. Can you count?
Yeah. All my 10 hands, except for his thumbs. 8, I should say. That's my bad. It's a terrible day. All 8 fingers are up in the air. Watch him. There they are. That's a great close-up. That's a great close-up. I love that close-up. Just showing it to the judges to show that we're going completely clean. He's pumped. And so it should be. That was a sweet run.
That was a great run. He even showed off after the run with a nice match. It was like, well, yeah, that was cool.
Yep.
Now we're like, that's how cool I am, and that's how good I am, showing to others. And definitely had plenty of fun. It was a great run, so it's going to probably take a couple extra seconds. No, the result is here. Judges are doing great. 576 points. That's very, very solid.
That's a great run. Yeah, that's a great run. We're going to nip across, not far from here is France, actually. We're only about 45 minutes away, I guess, from the border from where we're at right now. And check in with an ex-athlete, Thibault. Now, am I pronouncing that correct?
I believe so.
Okay, now he's
like
16 years of age, second at the World Cup in sport just last year. He says he loves to kayak without a paddle. Haha, big smiley face. He started kayaking with his dad at age 4 years of age. As he drops in with a nice entry into a McNasty. Beautiful 2 big moves, trying to get aerial with both of them as well.
Yeah, it was a great opening for Thibault. He goes big. Oh my God, he tucked on the bottom, and you could see he went overboard. He was trying to save himself. He didn't try to move. He tried to stop and retain, but unfortunately he was already behind the foam pile, which caused him flashing really far down. But he's paddling quick to make it back to the feature, getting a lot of support from the crowd. 30 more seconds as he drops back into the feature and goes big into space, trying the Shishka move, but unfortunately not really getting in.
Yeah, again, we talk about tactics and how they play out here in this wave. Sometimes you want to go as big as you can, because the bigger you go, the more points you're going to be able to get and access your bonuses. However, if you do go ever so slightly too big and try and delay it, the problem is you're going to flush. So you have to know exactly when to throw it. It's like a gymnast that has to throw a certain move, but you have to throw it when you sort of get the right feeling. You can't just throw it and go for it. You've got to wait for that right feeling of the moment in the air and just go for it. And that's exactly the challenge that we have here for these athletes. And we're super excited to see this guy, 16 years of age, from Team France. The French contingent are pretty loud here. 220 points is his first score. He's going to be happy with that. I'm sure he's going to improve on that for his second run.
All right, and the next paddler to go is Nanase Okazaki, coming all the way from Japan. I had the pleasure to work with Nanase a little bit, and he's such a lovely kid. I have to say his English is not the best, but we paddled together for over a week, and it was not a barrier at all. He's such a positive guy. He loves kayaking. He's so excited about it, and he goes big. Oh my God, into McNasty, into a loop. What a combo! I'm not really even sure how would it be scored. That was so good. He's just smiling. Oh, I just got something cool. That's his attitude. He's so positive towards everything, and he loves trying combos. And that's what he just got. Well, a definitely great opening. Now he looks for a loop. I'm not really getting the plug, but 20 seconds, he's still in the feature. That's really good opening for him. Now he looks for that really slide on his tail in the blast to get the Magnasti in. 10 more seconds. Nanase really commits to that Magnasti. As the time goes down, 5 more seconds, last chance. He tries for the left one. Not really getting in. Oh, he's really missing out on this one, but definitely the opening was so interesting. I'm gonna be looking forward for the score of that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it, because these guys have been flying high. As you say, there's a lot of these athletes who've actually been spending quite a lot of time in this feature trying to get used to it. See that? That was huge. And then straight in to another.
I have no idea. I think it might be possibly a max pace into a loop.
So it is too. So a McNasty finishing off with the space,
yes,
into a loop. So I'm glad we've got this slow motion to be able to see what actually happens out there, because as time goes on, it's going to be even harder to call the moves, because they come at you so fast. But that was a great sequence.
It's really fun, because just recently, I think Kim was the first one to throw it maybe, and he just went like a Max Zilla to loop, and Nanase just goes in and copies it. I mean, like, that shows such a good potential. Might be like he didn't even plan that loop possibly, but he just like, that's it. That's the quickest way to save. I'm gonna go for it, and it works so well.
And you know what the deliberation might be? Is that going to be a combination, or is that going to be a trophy? You know, was he using the same end for that, Bartosz?
No, he actually, in my opinion, he landed the space, and then, so it would be like a space loop kind of, so that would be a link. So he finishes one trick, and without any stop, he goes for another one. So that would mean he would get a link bonus. If he scores both of the tricks, he would get a link bonus on both of them. And look at that score, 330 points. I think that's what he actually got. He's so stoked. He loves that. And then definitely was a great run for him. And that's just an opening. Yes, he's so happy.
So stoked to have Team Japan. They are such very respectful on the water. I love to paddle with them. They are so fantastic, always smiling as we're going back to the action.
So we're looking at the Finnish junior now, Tuisku Anisma, and well, I also paddled with him, and well, he's a great guy, positive as well, really powerful, and he loves to kick off his ride with the Magnassi. He didn't really get it. Now he looks for that space. He's on the top of the foam pile, 30 more seconds. Tries to pull around, not really getting that Magnassi. He takes his time. He wants to stay in the feature. I like that he goes for spin to shove it. Oh my God, he went far on that shoulder. Flipping there. Oh, he really takes the risk, but he manages to stay in the control and still be in that feature, trying to pull that Magnassi really hard. Well, he needs some big points on the board now. And as he goes for Magnassi, trying to get that boat around, and that's time for it. Well, we're going to see a lot of tries for tricks.
Sometimes they come around, sometimes they don't. There's a lot to this freestyle kayaking. It's very dynamic. The river and the feature is constantly changing, so if you just miss your bounce or your movement, you just sometimes can't pull it around, but you can see him there still getting some super cool moves. Other than kayaking, he says he likes skateboarding, skating, snowboarding, messing around with computers and the like. He got into kayaking through his dad, and then he made the national team, and the rest is history, he says. He got 19th at the 2018 Europeans, 17 years of age, from Finland.
And we got his final score, which is 10 points. Well, it's good to have some points. I know he aims for a lot more, and he's like, no, I have one more ride, I'm gonna show off now. But for us, it means we're going back to the top of the order, which means we'll be looking at John Pearson, second run from Sweden. His first ride was pretty good, and well, I'm really excited to see what his second run is going to look like.
That's right, he was able to whip out some nice big aerial moves. He was taking a bit of time to set up, but then when he did need to throw it, he threw them. So now he comes in setting up with a nice entry move, getting completely aerial. Now he goes for possibly a spacer level loop. And now he starts at the top of the feature looking for his next, I think he's looking for that Magnassi. Using that surfer's right section to his advantage. There's a little bit of a flush point there as he's going for that Magnassi. Stays in the middle. This is where he goes for the Space Godzilla into cartwheel, possibly. He's still moving around. He's still shaking that boat up. He did throw that move right in the middle of the feature, which is probably one of the hardest places to throw that move.
Yeah, that was an amazing combination. I like how he also retained it and just like he finishes the moves and he tries straight away to go for another one. And here he goes for a nice Magnassi. That's what he needed, and that will be the time for John. Another solid ride in books for him, and we'll see what judges score it. But as I was saying, he finishes the move and he tried to link every move to another one, whether a cartwheel or a spin, but he was just really looking for the link bonuses.
That's right, as he took a little bow to the camera as he finished off his routine. You could see him going for that nice big loop and really trying to stay retained. This is that over vertical cartwheel to space, I'd say, space to the left now, and it goes straight into cartwheel. So by him doing that and throwing into a cartwheel, you know, sometimes if he gets that cartwheel link, he doesn't have to finish with the nose of his boat facing directly upstream. He can just throw it straight into a cartwheel and get a link bonus. And the score comes through 615 points, which is going to be a solid score. We said around the 500 mark might be the mark for him to move on, and that's probably just on the top of that end, and he'll be able to move through most likely as we go to Riley Harris from Team US of A. Get ready for this combo. Here we go.
And he kicks up with Fisher King into perfectly executed Magnassi. Well, no doubts on that combination, and 40 seconds, as he already has two big tricks on the board, goes for Magnassi to the other way. That's a really, really good opening into one more Magnassi. So possibly he looks to get an entry bonus for this opening combo, and trying to get a cartwheel, unfortunately hitting the bottom twice, but manages to retain into the feature. So that shows a great control blocks and goes for big space to the right hand side in the right pocket. So greatly using the feature. He really knows where to go. He's been here a while. Huge! And again, count my fingers. Count my fingers
are up.
Yes. 5 more seconds. And he goes, oh, no, that wasn't perfect.
You know what? I honestly think he was looking for a Jedi. I honestly think because he initiated the nose and went straight around, tried to whip it around into the back of the boat. A Jedi, which is basically a trophy move. It's a move that's not really defined in the rules. I reckon he was looking for that move at the very end.
Yeah, I would like to see it on the maybe repetition there because it looked really, really cool. But this space, oh my God, so much air.
I love it how he really sells it to the judges that he's not using the paddle blade at all. Just watch for those fingers. Look at that!
Yeah. And landing, fingers up.
Fingers are up. He's selling it to the judges, saying, I'm not touching the water at all. Beautiful stuff, but his entry combo was something to behold for sure.
So it's really interesting. So usually you could do an entry move and then throw a McNasty out of it. So entry move, unfortunately, doesn't get a bonuses on top of it. So it would be really interesting to see, because he was repeating the McNasty to get extra points, but possibly because he had done 2 of them, his entry might move 1 level up.
That's true. So there are 3 different entry moves that you can access. Entry move 1, entry move 2, and entry move 3, all defined on slightly different moves. If you basically do a Fisher King or an entry move on your head, that's basically going to be an entry move 1. If you do it with a bit of air and you get air time, then that's going to be a bit of an entry move 2. If you do something that's based on an expert level move, which is kind of the entry McNasty move, if you hear us call it an entry McNasty, that would be an entry move 3. Obviously, the higher the number for the entry moves, the more points you're going to get.
Yes, indeed. For entry 3, you just have to make sure you get some air, because then it goes to entry 3. If you get a McNasty, that's not really aerial, that would be entry 2.
Yeah, so that's true.
There is a bit of a risk on that.
Yeah, that's very true.
And here's his result, 650 points. So he improves from his first one, and total 1,226 points, which I believe would move him up the ranks till...
Probably about 3rd,
yeah, I think so, yeah. Yeah, we're going to know very soon, but definitely we'll see him in the semi-finals.
For sure. He'll be pumped with that. That means we're seeing right now, I would say, 1, 2, and 3 would be Team USA. We're talking the Kellogg's, we're talking Mason, and we're talking Riley. As we move across to Team France, and we can see our next athlete coming in, Thibault from Team France. In he goes with a nice entry move.
He unfortunately flashed at his first ride because he looks really nice and solid in the feature, showing a good control. So I'm really interested what he's gonna do, spending all 45 seconds in the feature. As 30 seconds goes, he's setting up the right shoulder, trying to get to the top, possibly looking for a big arrow. This time it sticks nicely.
That was so fast as well. That was a nice dynamic loop as well. He didn't delay it, he just threw it across.
And now he goes for a lunar orbit. Big points on the board for him. So that's what I was talking about. He looks like a good paddler. He didn't have much luck maybe in the first run, but he definitely improved in this one already. And well, we're gonna see what else he has prepared. There's 7 seconds just left, and he's looking for that tricky wheel. Oh my God, and he got it around. Unfortunately, flashing after that last end. Well, we're gonna see what judges are gonna say about that, but he definitely flashed on the end, so probably not getting scores for it. But he got some really good moves over there, and that's going to be probably a better score for him.
Yeah, for sure. You can see he wasn't getting much air for those McNasties, but he was still whipping it around. This is that lunar orbit that we were telling you about, blasting up. Now here comes the tricky woo. The tricky woo, super hard move to do. Might have dropped the edge there at the end, but it will be up to the judges there. But super awesome move if he does get it.
So something to remember about. We are just calling out the tricks as we see them. We're not ICF trained judges. We have 3 of those, making sure that everybody scored evenly and equally. And here's the final score for him, 173 points for his second ride. So possibly he didn't get all of the tricks he's done, and total would be 393. Might be just on the border of making it to semi-final.
Yeah, it's going to be close for sure. It'll be right on the cusp, right on the Eddie line, as we could possibly call it, as we head across. Just made that one up there on the spot. We head across to Team Japan, and we see Nanasi about to throw down.
So Nanasi, who loves to open his ride with a McNasty. And here he goes. Oh, not really getting it around. I'm sure he's going to come back to it, as that's his favorite move to do, and he can go really big in the aerial. And here he goes. He throws it, not really getting the landing. Like, no. One more possibly. 30 seconds. The most important thing is still in the
up. Oh, no. Oh, we might have had an injury. Yeah, I'm guessing it might be a dislocation shoulder.
I think elbow maybe.
Might have been.
Smash elbow on.
Yes. Yeah, every single freestyle kayaker knows that feeling of smashing your elbow on your kayak. It is so hard, and you know, we hope he's all right. I'm sure he will be because we've got our great safety. We actually have a fantastic safety team here. As we look at the replay, super, super hard bang, I think. Yeah, we're looking at that replay there. You can see it come through. And it just jolts that arm.
Both popped up and just smashed his elbow just
here. Yeah, you can just see it in that slow motion, yeah, so
but you
big
can see
hit.
Big hit, but you can see like adrenaline, it didn't kick off straight.
Yeah, he kept trying to go for it.
He was like, yeah, I'm gonna go, and then bro, he does a pull, and you're like, oh, I cannot feel my hand. So, well, hopefully he's gonna be alright. He can be like a goal-faced elbow, really, really tricky, but well.
This is actually competition, this is what happens. It's not, we're not like playing lawn bowls in the backyard, mate, here. We're telling you, we're throwing some big tricks on a very dynamic feature. So we appreciate him being a part of this festival.
All right, and next one up is Tuisku from Finland. And he goes for his Magnassi and he sticks it.
Yeah.
He's gonna be so stoked for that. He really worked hard to get that trick. And now he goes for a loop, getting that in. That's the right he was looking for. And he was very motivated to do very well. And his first ride didn't go as well as he expected, but well, now he's definitely improving.
That's right, as he sets himself up now, looking for his next move. Yeah, and going for it. Just gets a little bit pushed around as he's going for it. And look at the team supporting him. Really exciting for sure. He's pumped to see him throw down. Look at him really dig deep to try and get back up that eddy line. Pushing with all his will, trying to initiate that just before the buzzer, and doesn't quite possibly get that move before the buzzer. But you know what? He's such an awesome athlete. He's still got a massive smile on his face. Here we go. This is the McNasty attempt. Look at that. Boom, whips around. The only problem is, does he retain it? Leave that to the judges, but you know what? He's throwing around some nice dynamic moves. I love the spray of the water over the top there as he brings that around. He's still happy. 140 points. He's happy with that. Yes. You know what? It's all about achieving goals as well. It's not just about getting on top of the podium. And a lot of these athletes have their own personal goals, which the team actually, the junior development team, have been working on, which I'll talk in a second. Riley Harris was on top of that heat with 1,200, and you can see how things round out there all the way through to the fifth athlete. Looks like, I would say, looking at the scores, I would say that Riley possibly is in second or third position. So I'm guessing it's going to be the Kellogg's and the Mason and possibly Riley as well in the top three. Hey, we're going to head down to the mix zone and check in right now with Bartosz. What's going on down there, Bartosz?
All right, and we are here with Teo Albertin from Team France. You just finished your run, and well, I think your second run you managed to pull off a lot more tricks. How you felt about it?
I don't understand.
You got a lot of tricks, and they were quite good. How do you feel about your score?
I think I am a little sad because I think to make better, so I'm a little bit sad.
How does it feel to be here in Seoul at the World Championships representing Team France?
That's very great because we represent our land, and I'm very happy to be here.
All right, and how do you like the feature?
The spot? Yeah, I like it, but it's a little bit hard to kayak in, and that's great.
Well, great performance out there, and congratulations.
Now we're going to the next one.
All right, thank you so much, Steven.
Thank you.
That's right, we have the world's best here at the 2019 ICF Freestyle Championships. This is the junior prelims, and as we've said, the idea here is to cut now down to about 10 athletes to move through. The athletes are from all around the world. The great thing is we have lots of people being a part of this event, and it is brought to you by the International Canoe Federation. Now, the ICF is a federation which brings all of these disciplines to the water, and what we're going to do is throw down now to Bartosz, who has one of the officials down there. Hey, Bartosz, what's going on down there, mate?
All right, we are here with Cyril. Well, the World Championships are one of the biggest events, and well, organization of course takes a lot. And well, you're a person behind the scenes, so you're presenting ICF, making sure all the communication goes out. How great it is to have so many paddlers out here.
Yeah, today was the first day of competition on this venue. We have already been able to enjoy skirt on last Saturday. And today is the first day of competition for surface boat with the youth. And we start with a great category with junior men this afternoon. It was a great show. I'm sure we'll have more people in the grandstand from SORT in the coming days, and more people behind their screen with ICF live streaming.
Well, the great thing, we have a whitewater stadium. I think that's one of the first whitewater stadiums for freestyle specifically, and it's a great success to have it here in Soar at this venue. So that was a lot of effort to have it built, and well, hopefully it's going to be used also for future events.
Yeah, we have the opportunity with SORT. SORT is well known in the canoeing community for freestyle, but for wheelwater and canoe slalom also on the upper part. It's also well known for recreational community, so it's a good mix. We can say that SORT is the earth of the canoeing cluster in Pyrenees, and we have also the chance here to have a good organizing committee with the local authorities very supportive. We allow us to have this brand venue dedicated for freestyle since few days. They have done a great job, hard job, long job. So thank you to the local authority to support canoeing.
Yes, thank you so much. And it's great to be in such a great venue. And I mean, it's a lot of events going on here. Next week there's the Noguera Palaresa, the international event. So all recreational paddlers are coming down here. So it's very, very known place. Could you reveal a little bit where we're going to go next year as well?
Next year, it's not next year, it's in 2 years. Freestyle, it's World Championships is every 2 years, but next year we are still fine-tuning the schedule, but we know that we will have 2 to 3 World Cups in Europe, mostly. We know that Nottingham is on the list. We know that since few days, SORT is officially give a bid with the Spanish Canoe Federation to us. So the final decision will be done in the next few days, and we may have a third World Cup coming. So I hope that we will be able to have a good World Cup circuit next year, and in 2 years it will be a road to Nottingham and back in Great Britain to a great event in Nottingham. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it seems that freestyle is growing and getting more and more recognition. We have more countries every year, more participants, and it's great that ICF is recognizing SORT and freestyle as it is. Do you think there's a chance to have more World Cups in the future in more places?
First, to have more World Cup, we need to have our candidates and to have city interest to organize. And here we have the chance with SORT to have a great organizer here, and they want to come back regularly. And so, yeah, I think the freestyle grow up with paddlers. We have a more and more fixed nation. We don't increase a lot the number of nations, but we have a permanent nation practicing. And we have the chance here to have a junior development camp. And it's a great opportunity for the future, for the youth engagement in freestyle. So I hope it will be for a long-term view.
Thank you so much, Cyril. And well, that was day one of World Championships, OC1 and K1 Men Junior. Let's look for next days. Great show indeed.
All right, thank you for bringing us the action down there. We currently are rounding out today, finishing it off, but do not go anywhere because tomorrow, please make sure you tune in. We're going to be getting underway at 11:45, starting off with the C1 surface prelims. The women's is going to come at you at 1:50. The women's junior kayak, the prelims. Then at 3:20. The Open Canoe Surface semi-finals will come your way. Then throughout the week, we got much more heading your way. Thursday, we've got C1. Friday, we've got lots of finals coming on. And Saturday, we have the finals as well for the women's and men's K1. Hey, make sure you check in, spread the word, let everyone know what we're going on here. Tell everyone about the World Championships. We want you to check in. But we're going to start things off once again tomorrow. Be here on this live stream, 11:45. This is Barcelona time, or sort time in Spain. And I can't wait to see the action coming at you. This is the 2019 ICF Canoe Freestyle World Championships.